Tonight, NASCAR roars through the gateway to the West in what could be a battle between developing arch rivals. With a series-high 5 wins, Kyle Busch has stretched his championship lead to a commanding 192 points. Can Missouri native Carl Edwards cut the deficit and claim his 3rd gateway win? Or will someone else emerge in the shadows of the Show Me State to show us what they've got? Just outside a city known for its Clydesdales, we'll find out who has the strongest horse next.
10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
Baseball's All-Star Game may have been earlier this week, but there are still plenty of stars here in the St. Louis area. NASCAR stars, that is. And the fans are flocking to Gateway International Raceway to get a glimpse. Hello, everybody, and welcome to NASCAR Countdown. I'm Mike Massaro here at the Gateway International Raceway in Madison, Illinois, just minutes from the heart of downtown St. Louis across the mighty Mississippi River. And if you're looking for hometown favorites, there are plenty, starting with Justin Allgaier. He was raised in nearby Riverton, Illinois. And then, of course, there's the first family of St. Louis racing, the Wallace family. They're very well represented tonight. Mike Wallace is here, Kenny Wallace, and Stephen Wallace. But perhaps the hometown favorite to watch is Carl Edwards. He has only 1 win in 2009, but he does lead the series with 5 poles. Here's a look at how qualifying went earlier today. And Kevin Harvick put up a very good time, was on the provisional pole for a little while, but ended up 3rd when it all shook out. Instead, it was a battle between 2 other Cup drivers, Reed Sorensen putting up a track record time, but it would not hold up. It was matched, not topped, matched by Brad Keselowski, an identical time, but because he has more owner's points, he was awarded the pole, and he's standing by with Dave Burns.
It's a good night to have more owner's points, that is for sure. Brad's still working on the championship right now. He's 3rd in that department. After the pole today, though, Brad, is your car good enough to keep everybody behind you all night?
Well, it's hard to tell with the transition into the night. This is the coldest I've ever seen it in the middle of summer here in St. Louis. It's a beautiful night. But that really changes our car's handling. It's going to be hard to tell, and it's fast. So it's not easy to drive, but it's fast. So we'll see if I can hold on to the front all night with the Degree Chevrolet.
This year's Dover winner looks for win number 2 tonight at Gateway. To Jamie Little.
Well, it certainly was an exciting qualifying run today. Pretty much a virtual tie there, but something else that's exciting. Reed, you're here with a new team in Braun Racing and driving a Toyota for the first time. What do you think your chances are getting to victory lane again?
Well, you know, both times we won, we started 2nd, so hopefully that means something for tonight. I think the Dollar General guys have done a great job all weekend, and we did a good job in practice with the 1 set of tires, which is what I'm not used to. So we did a good job. I mean, we made all the right changes, I think. I don't know if it'll be enough, but should be fun. I'm excited. You know, I haven't been in one of these cars in a long time, and I love this racetrack, and it's going to be a good race, I think. It'll be a close finish, I believe, and there's about 7 or 8 cars, I think, that could win this race, so we'll see.
Well, the odds are on your side. This guy, believe it or not, has started 2nd 4 times in 5 races.
And it's a quirky racetrack, a challenging racetrack, just over a mile in length. And the gentlemen who will be calling the action are high above trackside. That's Marty Reed, Rusty Wallace, and Andy Petrie.
And thanks, Michael, and good evening, everybody. You heard Brad Keselowski talk about how cool it is. Normally, we're 90 degrees, 90% humidity, and a 90% chance of rain. But it has been 2 perfect days, Rusty. It's changed the track conditions.
It's changed the track conditions a lot, Marty. I don't think I've ever seen weather like this in St. Louis. These competitors down there, they're used to 100-degree weather, really steamy out there, really sticky, really uncomfortable. I've talked to almost every single one of those guys down there. They are so pumped up about the weather tonight. They really think it's going to change the handling of their cars. They think it's going to be a fast race because their cars are hooked up.
And this is a very challenging racetrack. It's got 2 completely different ends of the racetrack. 1 and 2, it's got a little bit of banking, and it's a real tight turn. This is one of the tightest turns in all the sports here of all of the tracks we run on. And then you go down the backstretch to a nice flat sweeping 3 and 4 that you have to carry speed off to get on that front straightaway to make good lap time.
Well, let's give you an idea of just how tricky this track is. Watch Justin Allgaier as we go for a lap.
Talk about speed. Down the front straightaway, the cars really get going. Let's take a listen to this engine real quick. Hear that? It's right up against the rev limiter, and they're carrying a lot of speed down into turn 1 because of that.
And you see right here, Justin's got a lot of steering wheel input. He's having to catch it a little bit, hitting those bumps, and he's trying to carry as much speed as possible off that really tight turn 2, headed down the backstretch into this sweeping 3 and 4.
And one of the key parts about this racetrack, Andy, like you were talking earlier, there's the entry of turn 3 right on the bottom of the racetrack. But turn 4 is so wide and so up, and you really got to have your car really hooked up there to get off the corner and carry a lot of speed. But these RPMs you're seeing right there, they'll get down to like 5,500 RPMs. Man, that's very low.
All right, let's talk about who's going to win this race. Who do you like, Rusty?
I like Carl Edwards. I really do. He won this race last year. He dominated out in Phoenix this year before the engine blew up in that car. It's very similar track to these corners here. Also is on the pole, and I mean, also he won the race up there in Milwaukee, which is a good sister track to this still.
And I like Reed Sorensen right here on the outside pole. He tied the track record, making an infrequent start in this series, but I really like him. His record here is incredible, and I think he's going to have a good shot in this Toyota.
Well, you guys have picked the 2 guys that have won the last 4 races held here at Gateway International Raceway. Mike?
And another guy to watch certainly has to be Kevin Harvick. After all, he does have 2 Gateway victories. But a question many people out there might be wondering, why would a full-time Cup Series driver be spending his valuable off weekend running in this race when he's not running for the championship? Well, the answer is sponsorship. Jimmy John's is located in nearby Champaign, Illinois. And, well, Kevin made a stop at one of their locations earlier this week. And let's just say fast drivers and fast food, not necessarily a perfect combination.
We're at the Jimmy John's here in O'Fallon. We've got a cool looking car here that we're going to make a freaky fast delivery with. So let's go get some sandwiches and make the delivery. We would be shut down for business if I had to make all those because it'd be a little bit too slow. Not bad for a rookie. I need a yellow stripe. See you later. See ya. Bye. I can handle this part. We made a freaky fast delivery to you. Here we are.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And Kevin Harvick has a lot going on. So you saw him being a delivery man. And behind us in a second, you're going to see the truck race. Now, his truck has been leading, and I believe there's about 8 laps left. So there's a lot going on. First of all, what was it like being a delivery man for the first time?
Well, first of all, I got to say that Hornadays, he's a pretty bad man. He about makes me want to puke every time I watch. But it was pretty cool with everybody at Jimmy John's and everything that they do for us. And to be able to see a fan win a competition like that. And she had no idea we were coming to the office. So we walked into that office, and those people were pretty surprised. So it was pretty cool little thing that we did for them.
A lot going on with you this week, obviously in the news. It was reported you asked out of your RCR contract a year early. Do you have any comment?
I mean, I don't see any Cup cars here, so maybe you should ask me that next week. We'll stick to Nationwide this week.
All right, and your Nationwide car seems to be pretty good. In qualifying, you said it was a bit loose. How do you think that'll bode for tonight in the race?
Well, I think, you know, in qualifying trim, if you're a little bit loose, usually that's a good thing. If I can keep myself from driving in the corner too far, that'll probably work out a lot better. But all in all, the Jimmy John's Chevrolet has been really good all weekend, and hopefully it's good again tonight.
Hey, Mike, statistically speaking, he is the best man here in 3 starts. He has 2 wins.
Yeah, definitely a guy to watch out for. Kevin Harvick still ahead. Plenty to come on the show. After a humbling 2008, can Brad Coleman redeem himself? Why he says a win is an absolute must this season. 2 of Reed Sorensen's 3 nationwide wins have come here at Gateway. Can he spin a little bit more Missouri magic tonight? And St. Louis is certainly Carl Edwards' town, but this week he had to share the spotlight with some all-stars of a different sport. We'll explain coming up later in the Countdown show. There's the arch, the iconic symbol of St. Louis.
NASCAR Countdown, brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Play Driver Pick'em presented by Nationwide Insurance on ESPN.com for a weekly shot at $500.
Talk about home cooking. Carl Edwards from Columbia, Missouri is one of 4 drivers to score multiple Gateway wins. His first came here in 2006 when he drove away from Clint Boyer to victory and did the signature backflip. Then last year it was a dominating performance, leading 79 laps and beating Joey Logano to the checkers by a margin of nearly 7 seconds. Incredible. And there's a look now of Carl live on the grid, getting ready for tonight. No doubt he'll be swinging for the fences, something he had hoped to do earlier this week as he prepared for Major League Baseball's All-Star Celebrity Softball Challenge here in St. Louis.
Says he can't hit or he can't field, but we're just trying to sucker everybody, and he's not Mike, so nobody's really hearing, so they're just getting us and just faking like we're doing something. That's what we're going to do out there. Oh, you are? Oh, good. Okay.
You told him our whole secret.
Yeah.
driving this fun. All right, everybody aboard. Here we go. Breaker, breaker. How do you get the throttle to work? I haven't figured out exactly how to make it go yet.
I got that hit to beat the block. You can get that bass on below. I got that rock and roll.
I'm Carl. What's your name again?
Trina.
Trina. All right, here. So here I am. I'm thinking this girl looks like she needs somebody to throw the ball with, and she's a pro. All right, cool.
Yup. Here we go. Satellite radio, y'all get hit with the boom, boom.
So we're here at batting practice. In my mind, I thought of batting practice as me by myself practicing batting. There's like 500 people here. A little nervous. I chose this bat not because of its weight or its shape, but it's got a little flash to it.
Hey, wait a minute.
So what do you see so far?
Just keep the bat back.
Yeah.
Twist that back foot. Squash the bug. Don't go up on your toes.
Squash the bug, don't go up on the toes. Get me pumped up for my batting here. Thanks, guys.
Be sure to beat Kyle Busch.
That is my plan.
All right, what do you think about the weather? Do you think we're going to get this in?
Oh, it's depressing.
You know that lightning usually hits taller objects, so feel about that.
Summer, you might as well have to like squat down a little.
I'll get down a little lower. All right, here we go. Me and Sean Johnson. She's in trouble with the lightning.
Guys, I'm dying to know who has a better backflip. You're both known for that. Who's better at the backflip?
Well, right now he probably is because he's a little younger.
But there's always somebody younger that wants to try to get involved here. So.
I think she just showed who has the best backflip right there. She has the best backflip. All right, as you can see here, the Futures game's still going on. It rained a little bit in St. Louis. I have to go to I-80 Speedway. It's Edwards night up there, so I'm not going to get to play tonight, which as frustrating as it is, it might be the best thing because right now no one knows how terrible I am at softball. So batting practice went well, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
And one thing that really stands out for me was the fact he was wearing a Red Sox hat in Busch Stadium. Well, he's showing some loyalty to your ownership, I'm sure. But what was that like for you?
That was unreal. I was so disappointed that I didn't get to play in the game, but batting practice went really well. And like I said, maybe it's better that I didn't get to play in the game, but it's so cool to be able to meet Ozzie Smith and talk to him. Just an amazing guy. You know, I've been fortunate to meet a lot of people, and some of them they surprise you with how great they are. And Sean Johnson, Ozzie Smith, all those folks, you know, Billy Bob Thornton, they were all really cool. So, you know, hopefully the fans that came out there, you know, hopefully some of them are here tonight, and I can redeem myself for not playing by running well for them.
And we've seen him run here several times very well, the defending winner here in Gateway. Good luck tonight. Now, the guy he's going to have to beat, though, he's standing by with Dave Burns.
And Mike, Kyle Busch's last 6 races haven't produced all of the W's he has wanted, but the 6-race string of 1s and 2s, look at the numbers there, ties him for yet another Sam Ard mark. And the all-time record, Kyle, is 9 set by Jack Ingerman this series. So I guess the question tonight is, do you add another 1 or a 2 to that list? And is it a 1?
Can't hear you.
Can you win tonight?
Easy out here. We'll see what we can get. You know, the New Balance Toyota's been pretty good this weekend, so you know, it should be fun. We've got a good car, and if we can have a shot at it at the end, then hopefully we can get one.
What do you think about these cooler temperatures? How will that affect the setup on your car and how to adjust to it?
Well, the cooler temperatures are nice. It just picks up the track speed a little bit. You know, cools the track temp down, and you got more maneuverability being able to drive around there and haul the mail basically. So should be good for everything. Keep the brakes a little cooler tonight. Keep the tires a little cooler, but all in all, you know, it should be some more exciting racing.
As usual, exciting with the 18. Jamie?
Well, things with the 38 team have certainly been on a roll. Momentum definitely on his side. Now, Jason, when it comes to short track, seems to be your strong suit. Second at Phoenix and Darlington. How does this car compare at this track?
It's pretty good. It's really solid in race trim, and guys are doing a great job. So we've had great stops all week long. And if everything goes our way, I think we'll have a shot at it for sure.
He had an impressive run in Chicago last week, qualified 5th. His great effort here. Mike?
Well, Jamie, this area right behind me is known by some as the Room of Doom, the inspection area, a place where the car's height, weight, and various angles are measured before the race to make sure the car is race legal. And for more of an explanation on that, well, Andy Petrie kind of broke down the inspection process for us earlier this week.
The first thing that these teams do every weekend is go through technical inspection. This is where they check all the body dimensions. This is a go, no-go gauge, and every one of these represents a color on this template. If it goes, it's not good. If it stops, it's good. And if any of these templates don't fit, the team has to go back to the garage and do some body work. After the cars pass the template inspection, they come to this station where they check all the heights of the race car. This is the roof height gauge. The car can be no lower than 50.5 inches. This is a scale platform. The car can weigh no less than 3,400 total and 1,625 on the right-hand side. Looks like they need a couple pounds on this one. This is the last station where they check the tread width and the wheelbase. Pushing all these templates and measurements are worth a lot for performance, but you push them too far and they'll get you a penalty. Now, after this station, these cars are ready to go on the racetrack.
And you can feel the energy beginning to build here at Gateway International Raceway. The fans are excited. Reed Sorensen, this has been his own personal playground. A couple of victories here. Well, hey, how about that? They're cheering for us as well. And it's an opportunity race, no doubt. Some of the opportunity drivers huddled together. Mike Bliss, Jason Leffler, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Trevor Bayne, all hoping to score an emotional victory here tonight just outside the city of St. Louis. And there it is. There's the arch. Can't get enough of that. 630 feet in height, and believe me, it's very impressive. Monday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, comes at you at a special time, 6 Eastern on Sunday. It's the Mets visiting the Braves. Then at 9 Eastern, it's the ESPYs, presented by Under Armour and Land Rover. Quite a bit of programming on Sunday night, all on ESPN. Brad Coleman is behind the wheel of the car that went to victory lane last week for the first time this season. He'll run back-to-back races and be in the driver's seat for 6 of the next 7 events, and is hoping to put a dismal 2008 behind him. Our own Brad Doherty caught up with Coleman in Milwaukee and got a little taste of just how hungry he is.
All right, we're here today. A little taste of the garage. And I'm with this young man. Tell me who you are and why you're here.
My name's Alan Jordan. Everybody calls me AJ. I'm with Rudy's Barbecue, and we've been fortunate enough to get hooked up with Brad Coleman in the number 20 car, and we're excited to be here. And we decided to, you know, if you're going to sponsor a NASCAR and barbecue, and it all goes so well together, we better show up with some food.
So you're from Houston, Texas. You guys are sponsoring Brad Coleman. How in the world did you end up here in Milwaukee?
A long drive.
You drove here?
Oh, yeah. Pulling that thing.
Did you come by yourself?
No, man. Carlos, my buddy over there, rode up with me.
Now, I've heard a slogan. I want you to explain this.
That means do not throw your meat in the oven. Do not burn it up. Respect the meat. Put some Rudy's rub on it. And if you need barbecue sauce, then put the Rudy's barbecue sauce on it. It's the best barbecue sauce in the world.
Well, I'm from North Carolina, and as we were talking earlier.
Right.
You know, the barbecue capital of the world is North Carolina.
It is, really.
It really is. Especially
I hadn't heard that.
Well, just trying to enlighten you here.
Oh, okay.
Western North Carolina.
I need a little education.
I'm gonna eat with my hands, is that okay?
That's fine, man. That's all the way to eat. You're running a limited schedule this year. Why would you decide to run a limited schedule as opposed to running full schedule?
So the way the economy is, man, it's really tough to find a ride out. Got a lot of friends that are great race car drivers that don't have rides. And I'm just fortunate to have Rudy's behind me and be in the spot where I am right now.
So you're running 8 races, and you're going to be able to, how are you going to measure your success at the end of the year? What do you need to accomplish?
I need to win, without a doubt. First on my list is to get a pole, because I mean, I just really want to pole. I mean, I want to be first in everything I do. You know, I'm a competitor, but I think just finishing in the top 5 and the top 10 every race would be good, but a win would be awesome.
Last year, you had some different experiences. I mean, you drove some Cup stuff, and you went from a couple different rides trying to figure it out. What was that like? What was last year like for you?
It was a learning experience, without a doubt. I learned how to prevail in tough situations and keep my head cool, and it was really cool being able to race a Cup race. You know, not a lot of people get to do that in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And I can now say that I've raced in the Cup Series, and it was at one of the biggest, baddest tracks they go to. I mean, it's not an easy track to race at Michigan. I learned a lot, which I think is going to help me this year.
And joining me now is Brad Coleman. And Brad, we heard you say in the piece, you need to win. Now, certainly we know this equipment is capable of getting to victory lane. How much will it help knowing you're running 6 of the next 7 races?
It'll help a lot to be able to get the momentum up. You know, when you run one race and then you wait 2 weeks to run another, there are different drivers working with the crew chief, and it's just hard to get, you know, bond and get the momentum. But
with this Rudy's.com Toyota, we're going to run the next 6 of the 7 races and really get some momentum going.
Brad Coleman rolls off 15th tonight. He's just one of the many young drivers to make a name for him, try to make a name for himself. Jamie Little's with another.
And that would be Stephen Light. It's been 4 races since he's been in the car, but you got back in, picked right up where you guys left off. Pretty smooth qualifying and practice. What are your chances to getting victory lane tonight?
This Holiday Inn Chevy Impala is really good. I'm looking forward to the race tonight. Qualifying was a little off, a little tighter than we thought it would be. We backed up what we ran in practice, but I really thought we had more than that because I kind of screwed up practice a little bit. And I talked to Brad, and he said he was too loose. So looked like usually being a little tight is faster in qualifying, but tonight the looser car seemed to be a little faster. So I know it's good for the race. If it handles like it did, we'll be in good shape.
Stephen Light, 22 years old. This is his first of a 3-race stretch for RCR. Mike?
Well, thank you, Jamie. Folks, if you've ever been on pit road after a race, I can attest it is literally littered with hundreds of used lug nuts. So the obvious question is, where do they all go? It's a tough question, but it's one Dave Burns has been looking for the answer.
I've been thinking about it for at least 5 minutes, Mike. Where do these lug nuts end up at the end of the day? During every pit stop, 5 of them come flying off of each wheel, and then you and we get caught up in the action we know as a NASCAR pit stop. But what about the cast-offs? What about the used? What about the unscrewed? Where do they go? Well, they get swept up too by the crew, and then they get thrown out by the top teams who never use them again, because when they get hit by the air wrench, their precise little sides right here, well, they get dulled, and you can't count on them anymore. So where do they go? Some go right to the garbage. Some end up on eBay. Some are in the gift shops of your favorite race team, but the crews love to hand them out to fans. They give them away just like that. But one place you'll never see a used lug nut is on tonight's winning race car. Mike.
And Dave, we're moving right along here in Countdown. Still plenty to come before we go green flag racing. We'll talk a little bit about our in-race reporters. There's one right now. If you got a question for him, make sure you go to ESPN.com. Keyword, ask the driver, and drop us a question. You might hear it on the air, and Brendan Gaughan might give you a really interesting answer.
NASCAR Countdown, brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Verizon customers, text JSKI to 4ESPN to submit a question to NASCAR insider JSKI. Standard messaging rates apply.
And St. Louis, one of America's most historic cities. Here's a look at some of the iconic landmarks in the area. Of course, the Eads Bridge and Busch Stadium. But here is the signature landmark. It is the Arch, 630 feet in height, representing perhaps the learning curve some of these drivers face. We're getting closer to the command of fire engines, so now let's go trackside.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we continue to honor our great nation. In the center pit area, presenting the colors for tonight's Missouri-Illinois Dodge Dealers 250, presented by Ventrilo, is the color guard out of Scott Air Force Base's United States Transportation Command. And now, for tonight's invocation, Mr. Greg Dessard from the Midwest Racing Ministries.
Father, we stand before you tonight as grateful people, grateful for your son Jesus, grateful for this beautiful evening that you've given us for racing here at Gateway International Raceway, and Father, grateful for our freedoms. Father, we pray that you would be with us tonight and that you would watch over the drivers while they're on the track. Father, that you would provide safety and protection for everyone here tonight. Bless this night of racing. Shalom and amen.
And now, singing the national anthem of the United States of America, a two-time winner of the Youth Female Country Music's Vocalist of the Year, Miss Carissa Stepner from Metropolis, Illinois, accompanied by the symbol of our great nation, the majestic bald eagle, provided by the World Bird Sanctuary, and visit alton.com.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? And the home of the
And a stirring rendition of the national anthem. And here comes the flyby, a C-131 Strato tanker. And we are just about ready to get underway. Teams getting their game face on and getting pumped up for today's race. The stage has been set here at Gateway. Drivers are starting to strap themselves in. And we'll be ready to go racing when we come back. NASCAR Nationwide Series at Gateway International Raceway is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, official auto insurance partner of NASCAR, and Holiday Inn Racing. Always stay under green.
Man, I'm 80% physical. Win on three? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Win!
And teams breaking the huddle, ready to race here at Madison, Illinois' Gateway International Raceway. It's an opportunity race for some, but there's certainly some heavy hitters in the likes of Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards. Can anybody pull off the upset? Well, there are several candidates. And to cover some of those developing stories, let's go over to some of my fellow pit reporters, beginning with Jamie Little.
Well, Mike, how about Mike Bliss, a veteran driver? He sits 7th in points right now, but he looks to gain some points tonight. But there's one problem, one obstacle: restarts. The last 2 years here, he has crashed on a restart and lost a bunch of points. Now you add in the fact that we have double file restarts tonight, he's extremely nervous. But he told me if he can make it through tonight unscathed, he thinks he has a car good enough to make up some ground in the points. Dave Burns?
Jamie, Jason Keller in the 27 car is 10th in the championship right now, and he viewed tonight as an opportunity to pad that 10th place position and even move further up to where he was earlier this year. But a problem occurred in practice. He crashed his primary car. They had to go to the backup. He got only the practice laps, or only the qualifying laps today on that race car. They don't really know what they have for the race, so he's trying to make an opportunity out of what has been a bad weekend. Mike?
And the stage is set. Only 4 Cup Series regulars in the field tonight. Seems like a wide open race for someone who could pull off the upset. Now, let's go upstairs to the gentleman who will be calling the race with Marty Reed, Rusty Wallace, and Andy Petrie.
All right, thanks, Mike. Great job down there as we're getting ready to go. If you were with us for qualifying, you heard Andy talk about the fact we'd see a track record. Kudos, we had it.
And it's all about speed tonight, man. These cars are really hauling the mail, and we're going to see some great racing. And that extra speed that they have is going to make some sparks fly when they get in the corners. And I think it's going to have these guys all jacked up thinking that they can do a lot of things with these race cars.
Andy, you're right. It's going to get really wild now. But one thing that's going to make it really wild is these double file restarts. You heard Mike Bliss a little nervous about, getting that corner, maybe crashing. I do think you're going to see some crashes. I think getting down that turn 1 is going to get wild and woolly. And down that turn 3, buddy, pull your straps down and hold on, because they're going to wreck.
But the thing that makes turn 1 so treacherous is that bump. If they weren't with us before, it is really rough.
It really is, and that's what happened with Jason Keller. He, in practice, went across that bump just a little too aggressive, lost the back end of the car, and then had to go to a backup car. So that's a real challenging racetrack.
So you picked Carl Edwards, You like Reed Sorensen. Who's the long shot here? Who's the sleeper?
Oh, I don't think we got a whole lot of sleepers right here. I mean, they're all up in their game right now, Marty. They're really ready to go. I'm not really good at picking that. I've tried that, and I failed every single time. So we'll see what happens.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go with Brad Coleman. He's sitting in that 20 car.
See, I'm sort of leaning towards Stephen Light. I think that way that car ran all weekend so far, it's been good. But guess what? It's time to get this show on the road. Let's go trackside to get the command to fire the engines.
And now, the most famous words in motorsports. Our Grand Marshal and the President of Flagship Industries Incorporated and tonight's presenting sponsor, Ventrilo. Once again, let's welcome Mr. Brian Knapp.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Fired up. All right. Fired up whenever you get fired up. Four button loud and clear.
Baseball pit road.
Yeah, Doug, just trying to look ahead as far as you can on the restart. You know how this place is. It's like Phoenix, man.
So the engines have fired on the 43 cars that survived qualifying earlier today, and we've got a treat for you tonight. Not just one in-race reporter, we've got two. In fact, they're teammates. There's the shot of Brendan Gaughan, and we'll also have a camera and a radio with Stephen Wallace, and we'll talk to both of them when we come back to get this race started. Back here at the Missouri-Illinois Dodge Dealers 250, we are getting ready for the 43 cars to make their way out, and there they go on the first pace lap. And let's take a look at our starting grid across the top of the screen. The pole sitter has only won this race once in 12 prior runnings, and we've got 8 onboard cameras for you, and you can see from across left to right, Mike Bliss, Justin Allgaier, Stephen Light. And then there's Brendan Gaughan and Stephen Wallace. Talk to those two in just a moment. Then Kevin Harvick, Kevin Conway, and our pole sitter, Brad Keselowski. So let's get a chance to talk to Brendan and Stephen. Rusty, we'll turn it over to you.
All right. Brendan Gaughan, Rusty Wallace up in the ESPN booth. You got us.
Boss, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good, buddy. Hey, you've talked all week long about how you love this racetrack so much, and you've won here in the Truck Series. Man, you got to be excited for tonight's race.
I'm real pumped up tonight, boss. We got about, I'd say, at least 1,000 U.S. Fidelis associates sitting right here in turn 1. We're passing them right now, and we got a great race car. We set this bad boy up to run at night. But this first corner, hey, Steve, well, I'm a little nervous. You know, I got a U.S. Fidelis bumper in front of me. How about we not scare your daddy tonight? I'll do a little Steve Wallace run to the front with you. Man, we'll sure try and do that. You know, this is a real cool race for us. We're ready to rock. I think we got a good car.
All right, Brendan, I got an ESPN mailbag question for you, and it comes from Drew in Lansing, Michigan. The question is, during a race, do you guys talk to each other about the track and how your cars are handling?
You know, not normally. We don't communicate that often. I do remember, though, a couple years ago, 2004, a certain partner of mine, old Rusty Wallace at Bristol, called me in the middle of a race. But other than that, normally we're focused. My spotter, the Batman, on the radio, crew chief on the radio. So normally we're not going to communicate unless there's something really important that we want to do at the end of a race to get a little strategy.
All right, Stephen, you got any final words for Brendan?
Don't run to the back of me.
Don't run to the back. Okay, both of you guys have a great race, and be kind to each other out there.
Thanks, boss.
And there you see the two cars, and Stephen will start 24th, Brendan 26th. And our man over the wall tonight will be the front tire changer for Stephen Wallace's number 66, Mark Hollywood Armstrong. And yeah, there he is. And
yeah, they don't call him Hollywood for nothing.
Always likes to look sharp, and he does. So we're just about ready to go here as they've completed the first pace lap. Let's take a look at our race analysis. And this is a 1.25 mile track. We're going to do 200 laps. That equals 250 miles. Don't forget about pit speed, 45. Bust it, you're busted. Pit window, 70 to 75 laps. Turn 1, real tight, but higher banking, 11 degrees. Turns 3 and 4, 9 degrees of banking. And as everybody gets these tires warmed up, what would be your last word of instruction to your team if you were down there on the pit box?
My last word of instruction, Marty, is be careful on the start of this race getting into turn 1, especially the guy on the inside. He flies down there, Andy, you well know, you get in that inside, you lose that air, you slide up in the guy outside of you, and it can cause a big mess, especially on a flat track.
Yeah, we say it all the time. You can't win a race on the first lap, but boy, you can sure throw one out the window going in the first turn on the first lap. So you know, that would be my suggestion to my driver. Look, let's just get through this thing and let it sort out a little bit. We'll have plenty of time to win this race. It's a long race.
All right, we had 3 cars that are going to have to go to the rear of the field. 26 of Brian Keselowski, they had an engine change. Danny O'Quinn missed the introductions. That's a no-no also, so he goes to the rear. And Eric McClure tagged the wall earlier today in qualifying, and he's in a backup car, so he is the 3rd member going to the rear of this field. Lights out on the pace truck, so we'll be going green next time by for the first of 200 laps, fellas.
Marty, I tell you, it's going to be tough on the start of this race. These guys run very low air pressures in these tires, about 30 pounds in the right side. And Andy, I think they'll probably get down around 9 pounds in the left-hand side tires. Takes a couple laps to get them up to speed.
Yeah, down the garage area yesterday during practice, you could see the cars coming in and out of the garage, and they didn't have much more than about 10 pounds in those left sides. This is a short track. That's why they run these air pressures so low. That when you go down into turn 1, that is a short track corner down there. It's very, very tight. They put a lot of steering input in there. They got to run these tire pressures real low, and boy, the sparks are going to fly on the first few laps here.
Oh yeah, they're going to have to be really careful getting down into turn 1, especially. If you watch our practice and qualifying shows, there's a big bump in there. It really upsets these guys, Marty.
We have 17 competitors that are 25 years or younger. 22 of them are between 26 and 49, and 4 are 50 and older. And as they head into turn number 3, I know everybody's been hearing all the news about Jeremy Mayfield and all the stuff that's been going on there. Well, guess what? There's nothing new to tell you, so we're going to sit back and we're going to have some fun. What this is all about, it's called Going Racing, NASCAR Nationwide Series style. As the pace truck brings them out of turn number 4, he turns off. They get ready to crank it up. The fans are on their feet, and this is a great crowd tonight here in St. Louis. It is race number 19 of the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and as they come down the front straightaway, it is green.
Get ready. Green.
Harvick's looking to the inside.
3 wide, 3 wide.
Boy, Kevin Harvick put that left front fender right down on the bottom of that racetrack, trying to get alongside of Brad Keselowski. Couldn't pull off and got in line pretty wisely, guys.
Yeah, that looked like a very aggressive move, but Kevin backed off just at the right time there so he didn't cause a problem. But he's got a good car. He's not afraid to use it right now.
Yeah, we talked earlier about you got to get these tire pressures up to speed right now. These cars are a little hairy out there right now, slipping and sliding. Drivers are doing a good job, though, getting this thing to the first lap. Oh, look at them getting sideways off at 4 already. They gather back up.
Brad Keselowski leads lap number 1. Kevin Harvick 7. 2nd, Sorensen 3rd. Leffler 4th. And Carl Edwards is 5th.
Boy, right there, coming off of turn 2, it really tightens up big time, this corner does, and you've got to be careful getting off that corner because, man, we saw a lot of guys in practice slap that wall, and you just don't want to do that.
While all this is going on, we're on board with Mike Bliss. First start in park has made it. Kevin Hamlin is behind the wall. And look at this, going for the lead. Here goes Kevin Harvick. He's got the inside line going down into 1.
Pretty aggressive move right there. He actually moved that 88 car a little bit with that front bumper.
Hey, this is Harvick's off week, and he doesn't want to mess around. He's coming here to win. It's not about points. It's about his team, his car. He wants to get it done, man.
His truck driver, Ron Hornaday, just won the truck race over in Kentucky. He'd like to go for 2 for 2 tonight.
It looks like they're holding up Jason Leffler right here. He's trying to get by these guys.
Well,
nowhere to go.
You take a look at Kevin. He just can't clear Keselowski. He's got a good one. There he goes now. Now he's got him cleared. He's got clean air to the front of his car right now. He can set sail and get out of Dodge, I call it.
Well, we've had our first lead change, and Kevin Harvick moves to the front.
We take a look at Kyle Busch right there underneath the 32 car. Reed Sorensen already. He's picked up a couple positions.
Let's also tell you, update you, 91 Chase Miller, Willie Allen, 96. They too are behind the wall, so 3 down, several more to go. Let's focus back on what's happening up front because it's sort of settled down at least a little bit now into single file. It is Harvick, Keselowski, and all of a sudden, let's move a little further back. Eric Darnell in the 6 got the under position, the inside lane, the preferred line heading into 1.
Racing for 11th spot right here. See a few sparks flying out from under the cars.
Hey, what, Andy, don't get surprised, or anybody get surprised. See that number 6 car, Darnell, get it on. He ran good in Milwaukee. tricky, a pretty close track to this.
Take a look as we got the points leaders. You got Carl Edwards second place in the points, and Kyle Busch right behind him, the points leader. And you can see the difference as it started at 192 points. The good news for Kyle, 9 of the last 10 years, the guy who has led the points going into race 19 has won the championship. Carl says, I'm going to change that.
Well, he's going to have some luck on his side if he's going to change it. He can't just beat him by a spot or two here and there. He's going to have some bad luck for that 18 a few races for him to get back in this thing for good.
Reed Sorensen's is right on the back tail of the 60 car.
Yeah, Reed Sorensen's just getting his feet on the ground. He hasn't run these nationwide cars a long time. He's just getting sorted out right now.
And he also said after his qualifying lap that he felt like his car was pretty free. It was actually a little looser than he anticipated it being. And that might be what he's dealing with right now. His car might be just a little bit free. May pay off for him here in about 50 or 60 laps.
But that's a great point, because that's the way you want to have your car here. You want to start just a little bit free, the rear end kind of slide around a little bit, and have that front end stuck real good so you can dip underneath a guy, make a pass. If that front end slide, you can't pass anybody.
One more start and park. Kelly Byers, the 47, is behind the wall. And Justin Allgaier's going in the wrong direction, guys. He just got passed by Scott Lagasse Jr.
Well, I tell you, this first run right now is pretty hard to dictate what's going to happen. But one thing that's not hard to dictate is that 18 car is going to come to the front, and there he goes.
Boy, I'll tell you what, he started 9th, and Kyle Busch is marching towards the front. He has just moved into 3rd position. Brad Keselowski's next on his radar.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about this 18 car. You know, in practice, he didn't look like he was all that great. Didn't qualify that great for this car, 9th place. But when that race starts, he comes to the front.
Andy, I just wonder if it had anything to do with him being the very first guy to go out and qualify on a racetrack that wasn't that good a shape yet.
Well, and remember, he told us earlier that they really weren't practicing qualifying setups. What about it, Dave?
Well, Marty, if you heard a little level of I'm not sure in his countdown interview, he confirmed it when we rode the rest of the way around the track in a pickup truck as he was introduced. He said, I'm not sure what to expect. I thought that my car might not be as good as I thought it was because everybody else qualified ahead of me. The cooler temperatures here didn't help me in first position as much as I thought. But it looks like Kyle has the car he was hoping he had, again driving at the front.
Well, he certainly does, at least here in the early going as we're working lap 9 of 200. Kevin Harvick, though, is the race leader. He has pulled out a 1-second lead over Brad Keselowski. There's your top. Back here at Gateway International Raceway, you can see the lead. That's the stretch coming down the backstretch. Kevin Harvick by 1.7 seconds as he has opened up a margin over Kyle Busch. Kyle got around Brad Keselowski during the commercial break. Let's take you back and show you.
Well, let's take a look. There's Kyle on the bottom of the racetrack, working right on the white line, and Andy getting that clean air to that nose so he can turn underneath of it.
Yeah, and the longer he stays behind that 88, especially if he feels like he's got a better car, he needs to go ahead and make the move to get on out there so he doesn't abuse that right front tire by not having that downforce on the nose.
2 more starting parks to report. Kevin LePage in the 78, Johnny Chapman in the 90 behind the wall. Meanwhile, take a look at the 38 of Jason Leffler in the Great Clips Toyota, and here comes the 32 of Reed Sorensen. Took a look underneath, thought better of it.
Jason Leffler was putting some pressure on Keselowski until he finally got some pressure from behind from his teammate with Reed Sorensen, and Reed's car is finally coming around for him now. Looks like he's going the right direction, going forward.
I've been watching some of these lap times and the grooves these guys are running on the racetrack. It's going to take a little bit of time to start opening up that second groove because the guys will actually slide up in that second groove and dart down underneath the car. And right now they're just kind of hugging the bottom of the track.
Well, one of the problems is they're not sliding around much. They're running speeds. I mean, Kevin Harvick's running speeds that would qualify him in the top 20. So they're not slowing down much, not sliding a lot.
Well, Leffler just gets around him. And Dave, what's going on with Brad Keselowski, our pole sitter?
Yeah, Marty, I want to give you an update on his car right now. On lap 7, he used one word, tight. And then on lap 13, he gave a little more detailed description to Pops Yuri. Tight into the center of the corner on both ends. And it's worse in turns 3 and 4.
So if you're the crew chief, what are you thinking?
Well, we're going to have to free it up and get the track bar up a little bit. Maybe let some air out of the left side tires. Probably have to put a little air in that right rear just to free it up a little bit.
Well, we had a chance to talk to Brad about this racetrack, and it is definitely unique.
You enter turn 1, and you feel like there's no way I'm ever going to make this turn going this fast. And you drive into the banking, and it miraculously turns. It's kind of a cool experience. Then you go into turn 3, which is kind of the opposite, where you feel like you're going way too slow for the corner. And once you get to the middle, you start to slide, and it feels like you slide forever. And then you get back on the throttle, and you're sliding again all the way out against the wall. So the two corners are so drastically different.
And his crew chief, Tony Uri Sr., has 2 wins here at this track in this series with Dale Jr. as his driver.
Yeah, I tell you, he's got a good teacher right there in Dale Jr., and this car keeps getting stronger and stronger every single week. I mean, a great qualifying run out of Brad Keselowski today. Really good, strong run. And that was a sign that this thing's starting to turn around.
Take a look. Ooh, getting a little tight there. Kenny Wallace in the 28, the 99 of 18-year-old Trevor Bayne. Bayne's trying to nose ahead of him, heading into the corner, and Kenny says, no, I'm not going to give it to you, son.
Yeah, Bayne is actually sliding back a little bit, Marty. His car must not be handling too well right now. He's struggling with it, trying to get this thing handling well, but he's been stuck in that outside. I've been watching him. They're having a tough time with the 99 right now.
Tell you what, while we're watching all this, update you on cars that are on the move. Michael Annette's moved up 15 spots, and Jason Keller, remember, he had that problem in the primary car. He is up 14 positions right now. Meanwhile, up front, Kevin Harvick continues to lead by 1.8 seconds. We've got a lot of action going on all over this racetrack.
Boy, I tell you, this turn 1 right here is really rough. Real bumpy. Kevin, in fact, talking about bumpy, this guy right here hit the bump and crashed in practice. This is Jason Keller. He's got a backup car right now, but he actually told us that he thinks his backup car is better than his main car that he crashed.
Yeah, and that was without ever even getting this car on the racetrack. He didn't get any practice laps at all. His first laps on this car were in qualifying, so he's done a great job bringing that car up to 16th so far.
He is second on the chart for biggest movers. Michael Annette started at 22nd, has moved up. As we take a look at this battle, there is Brad Keselowski in the 88, and here comes the 60, Carl Edwards, looking to go underneath him with Mike Bliss in the number 1 right behind Carl.
Well, this 88 car really is struggling with his car being tight, and that paid off for him in qualifying, but he's sure paying for it now.
You know, a lot of times the cars are way too loose when they qualify if they got a really good race setup. Generally, if the cars are pushing the front end when the race starts, that means they've probably qualified pretty good because the car was more secure for qualifying. It was more underneath of them. But boy, when these races start, generally those guys going to the back are the ones that are paying for it right now.
Well, right now, Brad's trying to keep from paying by losing another spot, and looks like Carl is going to get it. Here he comes.
Yeah, Carl's going to get this spot, and so is Mike Bliss. The 88 car with Keselowski just needs to probably let these guys go. Kind of cool his jets a little bit. Try not to abuse that right front tire and give up more spots.
Absolutely. You see Carl Edwards on the bottom right now, Keselowski on the top. As we get going on this race, you see some of these double file restarts and stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. He's been racing hard, buddy. Just pick him apart here.
Tell you, that guy on the inside really has a tough time clearing the guy on the outside because the car gets so doggone loose. It gets sliding around.
The one thing, though, when you get shoved up out of that groove like that, do you sometimes find that, hey, my car works pretty good up here. I'm going to try to run hard and just see if how good it'll work on the outside.
Well, Andy, early in the race, you're a little scared to go up there because the groove's not burned in. It's kind of dirty. And boy, look at there. Edwards is kind of running him up right now, kind of roughing him up a little bit. He hasn't hit him, but he kind of faked him out, gave him a fake move to the right. Got around him doing that, though. That worked for him.
It did. He picks up the position, so move Carl into 5th, drop Brad back to 6th, as we're still working 23, now 24, 200 laps. And the top 3, well, Jason Leffler, he's had a lot of top 10s, but he still has yet to win. How about Kyle Busch? Well, he has 5 wins this year. He's running 2nd. And Kevin Harvick, he's led more laps in this race in just his 3 starts than everybody else in the field. We're working lap 29 of the Missouri-Illinois Dodge Dealers 250, and our race leader has been Kevin Harvick since he took the lead early from Brad Keselowski, our pole sitter. And you can see from his onboard camera, he's got lap traffic in front of him.
Got Brian Keselowski out in front of him in the 26 car trying to put him down a lap. Brian's running pretty fast lap times right now. Kevin's just having a little bit of a hard time getting by him. Here he goes.
The 07 was Mike Harmon that he did get around. And let's get more on the 33 from Mike Massaro.
And guys, it hasn't been necessarily easy sailing for the 33. There was a little bit of panic in Kevin's voice coming over the radio moments ago. He thought there might be some debris on the grill because his water temperature was absolutely pegged. Wasn't sure what it was. When they noticed there was nothing on the grill, they ascertained that it might be a broken gauge. My question for you, Rusty, if you're in that situation, you're behind the wheel of a car that's out front, has nothing on the grill, and it's getting hot like that, what can you do?
first of all, Mike, you're hoping for a caution, but the other thing you're looking at is the oil temperature gauge. You're just hoping that the oil temperature is not starting to skyrocket, because if the oil temperature is staying down in a good area, you can pretty well rest assured that maybe it is a faulty gauge. But if that baby's climbing, Andy, you well know that could be big trouble.
Yeah, there's other indications that he'll have if it is actually the water temperature getting out of control. They've got an overflow for the radiator. You'll see that steam coming out of there. That'll be your first sign that you got a problem with that. And like I said, the other thing is you're looking at your other gauges. Is everything else normal? And then also, what does it smell like? You can tell if that thing's running hot. You can usually smell it.
Mike, while we're talking about Kevin Harvick, you know, I was talking to Kevin earlier, and he's just so tired of that 18 and 20 car out running his car that he has really went to work. He's actually over there in the inspection line watching how those guys come through inspection. Andy and I have noticed some things they're doing to that car to get running better, but he's really stepping up his game trying to outrun that car right there. Dave?
That car right there started 9th. That is Kyle Busch. He currently runs 2nd. Hey, Kyle, how's your car?
First 2 laps were really, really good. Then tight. Center off. Especially 1 and 2. Not terrible in 3. A little bit tight. Center of 3. Center of 3 and 4.
Talking with Jason Ratcliffe about balance on the race car today. He said last week they got a lot freer the longer they went. He doesn't expect that to be the case tonight, but thinks they could be too loose on a new set of tires. That's what we'll find out after the first round of pit stops, because every set of tire behind the wall for Kyle, every set of tires is brand new sticker tires. So we'll see if he gets that car to the right freeness, the right looseness, or too free.
Well, guys, we're about halfway through this run, and lap times have dropped off about a half a second.
Yeah, they're still pretty fast, though. I mean, these cars are holding their speed, and the tires are holding their speed real well. You know, this is a good sign now. You know what your car's going to do after you've run this many laps. They've run 34 laps, and you can tell now what you need. And so you need to be telling your crew chief what you need to do to your car to get better. And that was a good job with Kyle. We heard what he was saying to his crew chief. Good information.
Let's drop back a little bit further. Scott Lagasse and Stephen Light. Light was up to 8th, but he has fallen back to 12th. Lagasse's right in front of him.
I'm watching Stephen Light's car, and the last time by, he was almost a half a second off the leader, so he is struggling with the handle in that car right now. Some of these guys that qualified good, I'm noticing they're not running near as good right now, and some of the guys that didn't qualify well are flat flying through the field at the moment.
Yeah, this car here surprises me, though. He had his practice sessions, both of them were solid in race trim. I really expected this 29 car to race a little better than we've seen so far tonight.
Well, I probably put the kiss of death on him when I picked him as my sleeper. One more start and park. Chad Blunt is now behind the wall after a few laps out on the track, all total of 12. Right now, Kevin Harvick has got a 1.5 second lead over Kyle Busch, and then it drops another 1.5 seconds back to Jason Leffler in 3rd, and we have been lean and green since the drop of the green flag. Take a look at the 66 of Stephen Wallace. He has managed to move up from his starting position up to 14th. You can see his cycle right there, guys.
Yeah, I'm watching his car right now, Andy. It is just flat flying. It looks the same as it did to me at Milwaukee. It's just on the tires, and he has passed 11 cars right now. He's moved up to 14th in the cars. He's got that US Fidelis car that's flying right now.
Yeah, he dinged up the right side of his primary car in practice last night, and when he came back in the garage after running this car for 1 lap, he said, I think I like this car better than my primary.
Well, as he continues to move towards the front, Kevin Harvick continues his way towards his 34th nationwide win. Will he get it? Stay with us to find out. Hey, let's take a look at our motorsports calendar because the Traxxas Torque Truck Series presented by AMSOIL. It's tomorrow morning, 11:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2, and then NHRA Finals action from Seattle tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, also on ESPN2, and then NASCAR Now, presented by the Home Depot, Monday, 5 Eastern, and then we pick up NASCAR Nationwide Series. Will be at ORP in Indianapolis Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, and then the Brickyard 400, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, and that is going to be presented by Golden Corral, Sunday, July 26, 12:30 Eastern on ESPN. And as we come back to action here, Kevin Harvick continues to maintain that 2.5 lead over Kyle Busch. Jason Leffler, though, has managed to cut down into his margin, trying to catch to the 18. And Justin Allgaier, remember we saw him a while back trying to fall back. Now he's coming back towards the front. Take a look at what happened just a few laps ago.
Oh man, I was watching him coming off of turn 2 right there. Watch this. He's picking up the throttle underneath that 6. He just keeps going straight, roughs him up a little bit. Bam. Boy, Eric, he almost got that wall, man.
Kind of forced that 6 car out of the throttle a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
Move Allgaier back up to 9th position. His car right in front of him that he's trying to pass would be Brad Coleman. All right, our other in-race reporter is Brendan Gaughan. Take a look at the 62, and boy, he is in 19th place right now. His teammate is up in 14th, and he's getting passed by Kenny Wallace.
Kenny having a great race so far. Every time we see him, he's passing somebody.
Yeah, he's doing a good time there. Brendan, on the other hand, seems like he's having a real tight race car right now. He's been struggling. He's needing a pit stop to adjust on that baby.
Well, Kenny started 33rd in this field, and now you can see he has moved up past Brendan Gaughan into 19th. So you're right. He's moving towards the front. Got a nice run going for the Border Patrol Chevy.
Let's take a look from the inside of Brendan's car and see what's going on with it. I can probably tell from his hands, Andy, maybe he's turning too much or not enough. Let's take a look when he gets down in the corner here. He's putting a pretty good amount of wheel. Not a whole lot.
He's not turning to the right, so that would be a sign of being loose. So he must be a little tight and having to stay out of the throttle just a little longer than he liked.
Yeah, one thing I don't like about the way the car looks, it gets down in a corner and the nose slams pretty hard on her.
I'll tell you one thing I saw right there. It looked like the throttle was coming off on the straightaway, actually. He was feathering the throttle a little bit.
Well, he is losing ground to Kenny Wallace as Kenny has pulled away by several car lengths. So obviously looking for that first round of pit stops to make an adjustment. Let's meanwhile shift gears, go back towards the front of the field and check in once again with the race leaders. Kevin Harvick, there he goes zooming by and trying to put another car a lap down. That would be Shelby Howard in the 70, and Kyle Busch, you can see him at the right side of your screen, not able to put much of a dent at all in that 1.5 second lead.
It's going back and forth there. You know, one lap Kevin might lose just a little bit of that lead, and then Kyle Busch will eat into that lead just a little bit at the next lap.
And back in 3rd place, about the same distance as Jason Leffler, about 1.5 seconds behind Kyle Busch. Then in 4th place, it is Reed Sorensen, who started 2nd. And he is about almost a full second. There he is, as he's got Trevor Bayne right there. And Trevor's already a lap down. So we've still got a lot of action to go here. We just worked 47 to 200 laps. Stay with us. Well, back here at Gateway International, we're a quarter of the way through this race, and this is the longest we have ever gone on a start at Gateway. And I know this is the kiss of death without a caution, but it is important. We almost had a caution moments ago, courtesy of that young man, 18-year-old Trevor Bayne. Let's take you back and show you what happened.
Trevor's been struggling and falling back through the field and actually went down a lap. And right here, he's really struggling with the car off the corner. Runs out of room, gets up into the safer barrier and some of the concrete.
Trevor's already 1 lap down in 25th position. In fact, we have a total of 22 cars on the lead lap. There you see his cycle. And he started 12th, but has dropped back. All right, while we've got an opportunity, let's get you caught up to speed, and we'll start things off with Mike Massaro, our race leader.
Well, guys, the weekend didn't necessarily start off the way that Kevin Harvick had hoped. They came to the racetrack with an experimental setup, but about 15 minutes into the final practice, he just got sick and tired of it. Struggling, they completely abandoned it. They changed springs, shock, adjusted track bar. 15 minutes left in practice, went back to their baseline, and you can see what 15 minutes of work can do. They got it just about where they need it to be. They're feeling pretty good, Dave.
Kyle Busch running along in 2nd place right now, trying to catch that 33 car. His car still tight. He labels it a 6 out of 10. They will come down to pit road about lap 62. That's just 8 laps from now to try to loosen that race car up. The 38 behind him is Jason Leffler. That car also tight. It will not turn. And unfortunately, practice yesterday was much better than it is for the 38 today. Not cutting the way it did yesterday, according to Jason. Jamie?
And behind him in the bright yellow Dollar General 32 is Reed Sorensen. First race this year, only the 2nd nationwide race in the last 2 years. A lot to adjust to and get used to it out in qualifying today. Great effort. He qualified 2nd for the 4th time at this race. Right now he says he needs a little right rear grip. He's free and getting loose everywhere. Dave?
Carl Edwards started fourth. He's dropped one position since the drop of the green flag. The car was loose getting off the corners to begin with, and now it's chattering the front tires. One of the adjustments they make will be to lessen the air pressure in both of those front tires for Carl. Jamie, back to you.
And Mike, listen, the one car, now this is the same car he wrecked at this track last year. It has been rebuilt. They've been fast all weekend, and the only thing he said about it is it's tight. What is he saying tonight? It's tight. Dave?
Now the 88 car, Brad Keselowski, started on the pole. He's fallen back to the 7th position. Recently, he's had a feel in the car that felt like a flat tire, but he's had the same feeling before, and it happened at Phoenix earlier this year. So he knew to wave it off and just trust that the crew could do something to fix this car during the next pit stop. Mike?
Justin Allgaier and Chad Walter were just scratching their head after practice, having a lot of problems with turns 1 and 2. They had a 1-hour debrief, came up with 4 options, ways to change it. They felt like they corrected it, but still a problem so far tonight. Very tight on throttle, just cannot get back to the gas. Just behind him, well, Brad Coleman looking to take advantage of this opportunity. He'll be running 6 of the next 7 races. He said earlier this week, he said, we need to win. Not cutting himself any slack, putting a lot of pressure on himself. Right now, he feels like the car's pretty good until he gets in traffic. Then the car gets pretty tight. Scott Lagasse rounds out the top 10. He's been having a pretty good run, although the car has not been turning exactly the way he wants it to. At one point, though, he seemed like he was taking it a little bit easy on the competition. His crew chief came over the radio and said, remember, we're not here to make any friends. Back up front, Kevin Harvick is on pit road. He's coming down to make his first stop. Remember, temperatures were an issue. Certainly they'll take a look at the front grille of that car to make sure there's no debris on it, but the car was starting to get a little bit tight during the end of that run. They'll go to work now on the right side of that car, make a slight air pressure adjustment. Service complete there as they swing around to the left side. A 4-tire change on the 33 car. He's been dominant all night long. Not looking for significant changes, just an air pressure adjustment on Harvick's car.
Thanks. And as you see, Brendan Gaughan is in after we had our nationwide insurance up to speed. Now we're getting our first cycle of pit stops.
Five,
Jamie?
4.
And Brendan Gaughan, you hear him getting the countdown there to this box. He says the rear is loose. He needs more grip in it. They're going to make a wedge adjustment. 4 tires for the 62.
Okay, that was a good move. As soon as Harvick pitted, he was really slowing down. He needed to get that baby in and get some fresh tires, so Harvick just wouldn't get out and lap him.
Also hearing
all the way.
There's Jason Keller as he is peeling off and bringing it down to pit lane.
2, 1.
I'll tell you what, Marty, you normally at this track, these cars are totally tight. Now they're getting loose. You see the crew cam there. This is a live pit stop on Jason Keller. Remember, this is the car that they brought out as a backup first laps for today for qualifying. He said he's getting very loose, and that's what a lot of people are saying. He's going to take Sunoco Fuel 4 tires. He's down and away.
And that was courtesy of Butch Waugh. He is the rear tire carrier from Smyrna, Tennessee on the 27 car. Did a good job for us. 38 Jason Leffler has peeled off from his 2nd place position now. He is just coming in as he makes his way at 45 miles an hour. That's you feel like you're crawling. Jamie, you're up again.
And you see the 38 coming, and then right behind him, the 32, Reed Sorensen. First pit stop he's made in the Nationwide Series in a year. He needed more rear grip, 4 tires, an air pressure adjustment, and fuel. Dave?
Jason Leffler's 38, increasingly tight. 4 tires and Sunoco fuel in that car. They will raise that track bar 2 rounds. You saw the adjustment, the wrench going through the rear window, and change 4 tires and send him back out. Great car for Jason tonight as he's been able to make up positions on the racetrack. On pit road as well, the 18 of Kyle Busch. They'll look for a track bar and air pressure adjustment for Kyle in this race car. Remember, the car would not turn for him. He called it a 6 out of 10 tight. The crew going to work now. Last week, they beat their teammate twice off of pit road. Really, really good work for them. Track bar adjustment made. 4 tires being changed now. Quickly around to the left side. Kyle Busch gave up the lead to come down pit road. Other cars streaming by him now, and he leaves pit road.
And that means right now the lead is cycled through to Carl Edwards as he has stayed out on the racetrack. As we're working lap number 63, and he is still out on track. Dave, here's the 16.
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will get some work on his race car as well. You see the wrench going in the back window. That's a chassis adjustment, air pressure adjustment as well. And listen, the car is not bad in 3 and 4 and okay in 1 and 2. So he hasn't been that far off tonight. Stenhouse trying to repeat what he did at Milwaukee, which was run up front, and he's gone.
Mike Bliss also in as well, as he has completed his service.
All the way up, all the way.
He's got a long way to go. He's all the way at the back of pit lane. And we're getting word that the 60 of Carl Edwards is making his way. Yes, there he is, right ahead of Eric McClure down
4 tires,
pit lane.
track bar up 1, guys. 1 up on the track bar.
Dan Stillman encouraging his crew as Carl now makes his way down into the pit box. The first job is to hit the marks exactly. Driver going down pit road speed, but having to stomp on the brakes and make sure that he hits the marks the crew laid out for him earlier in the day. He does that. Now they'll go around the car. Remember, the air pressure's been reduced in the front tires of this race car. Track bar adjustment working in the back of it right now. Crew around the left side, more Sunoco fuel in for Carl. He went 63 laps of green on this track. That's a good measure for the start of the race. He'll be able to run more during this next run.
And the big question is, where will he come out in the cycle? Take a look. There is Kyle Busch. Remember, he came in a few laps ago. And we're waiting to see where everything sorts out once everybody has made their pit stops. And there is the 18 in front of 33 of Kevin Harvick. So obviously Kyle picked up some spots.
Here we are at U.S. Fidel's pit crew. Going to work. To the left. Look at there, your brake rotor's really hot here. But we gonna get it done. We're down and away, baby.
And that's Mark Hollywood Armstrong. And he talked about something you are concerned about. Brakes, brakes, brakes.
Yeah, you see all that brake heat. The thing I worry about most of that is maybe melting one of those beads on the tire. We made it through that full green flag run with no trouble, so feel pretty good about it now. But see a lot of glowing brake rotors on the racetrack.
Okay, one thing I don't like what I've been watching, take a look at Steven up there right now. He stayed out for a long time. Kevin Harvick hit pit road at 58. They were in at like 65. And that little extra time that let Kevin catch him on those new tires was critical. So a lot of these guys made a mistake.
Yeah, 15 cars on the lead lap. Stephen Wallace is the last one on the lead lap. He's going to fight hard to try to stay there.
And he had like a 15-second lead on the guys running back there, and he was running 12th when he hit a pit road. So, man, when that leader hit pit road, they needed to come in right then.
So right now we have 14 cars on the lead lap with Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Jason Leffler, Reed Sorensen, and Carl Edwards, as we've just got caution in our first caution on the track, as it looks like Kevin Conway has gotten into the wall with the back of his car, and it's banged up pretty good. So we made it 67 laps. And the lucky dog is going to go to Stephen Wallace. I think that's a sigh of relief I just heard from the guy over to my right.
A little bit of sigh of relief. I'll tell you who's breathing relief is that crew chief for making a mistake, pitting, staying out too long. He'll figure it out.
Let's go back and take a look.
Oh! Yeah, it looked like he got pinched. Didn't see that 87 car inside there. Got pinches down the 87 there. Kevin Conway, and he just loses control.
So the Aaron's lucky dog is the 66 of Stephen Wallace, so he'll get to come back around, and that will put a total of 15 cars back on the lead lap. We have a total of 8 cars that are out of this race right now. We've already documented all of those from earlier, as no one's dropped out until just now when the crash by the 87 brought up our first caution by Kevin Conway. So Kevin Conway brings out our first caution. Let's check in with our in-race reporter, Brendan Gaughan.
Hey, Brendan, Rusty up in the ESPN booth. You got us?
Gotcha, boss.
Hey, buddy, what's the car doing? What are you struggling with out there?
We're struggling with my entries right now, Rusty. The thing's real loose going in. The front end's kind of bouncing on me, making brake stuff, and then I'm just too loose through 1 and 2, 3 and 4. We're trying to get this thing to turn, but I'm staying too tight. Brian's working on it. He's got some air pressure. We want to come in, put a spring rubber in the right rear, but we just didn't have time right now. We're battling for this lucky dog. We got your brother and a couple guys up here, and we think we have a better race car right now. So I think I can beat him for the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap and try to go race this thing.
All right, buddy, stay focused. We'll talk to you later.
All right, he has 3 cars in front of him. In fact, that's one of them right there, the 28 of Kenny Wallace, also Michael Annett and Jason Keller. Those are the first 3 cars. He's 4th, a lap down, as they're fighting for that lucky dog position. 15 cars, with Stephen Wallace being the last on the lead lap, with Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Jason Leffler, Reed Sorensen, and Carl Edwards, your top 5.
And those top 15 cars will line up side by side, and then these lap down cars will line up behind them. We're going to see races actually on both ends of that, because you just heard Brendan saying he's got to race for that lucky dog spot, so they'll be racing just as hard.
Let's talk a little bit about sports action on ESPN. A special night tomorrow night. First, it's Sunday Night Baseball at 6 Eastern, the Mets and the Braves. And then 9 Eastern, the 09 ESPYs, hosted by Samuel L. Jackson. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell, and the 09 ESPYs presented by Under Armour and Land Rover. And we're getting ready for our first double real file restart, and you said at the beginning of this broadcast this was something we were going to have to watch.
Yeah, this is the one that really makes me nervous, because there's going to be some of the guys in the back trying to get that lucky dog that Brendan was talking about, and it's go time to try to get that thing back. And I don't know, Andy, that turn 1's the one I'm looking at, but it can happen in turn 3 also. Okay, another thing I'm looking at, Kevin Harvick pitted on lap 58. It's lap 71 right now, and a lot of guys just now pitted on lap 70. He's a little low on fuel compared to the rest of these guys. Jamie?
Well, you guys are talking about this restart going into 1. Quite a few drivers talked about the caution that they were thinking of on the restart because it's double file for the first time. Mike Bliss is one of those. Keep your eye on the 1 car. Starting 7th, inside on the 4th row, that would be. So he was worried. You see the onboard right there steering. Last 2 races here, this is what ruined his night, a restart crash. So we got to keep our eyes on this.
Sort of like a bad hole in golf. You go back and you remember it over and over, and you program yourself into some of these things.
You know, I'd say look at it on the positive. It's an opportunity to gain some spots. Don't worry about getting in a wreck. Just do your thing.
Well, you're right. You're right. Do your thing, stay focused, but on these restarts, you're going to have to stay double focused. But, you know, it's no different than starting the first lap of the race. It's no different than starting the race. The only difference is at the start of the race, drivers are thinking, stay cool. It's a long race. Be cool. Right now, they got about 72 laps in this race, and they're all a little anxious, especially the guys that are a lap down.
See them warming the tires up. Now, they want to get these things warmed up really good because they need that car to stick going down into turn 1.
Okay, that is Mike Wallace. We've been told that he was improperly held for moving equipment, so they're getting him back on the proper lap. So it should have been a stop and go. He is shown right now 5 laps behind the leader. He should be 4 laps, whatever extra blessing that is. Anyway, let's get ready because the pace car or pace truck has pulled off. It will be Kyle Busch on the inside with Kevin Harvick on the outside.
Now Kevin Harvick cannot beat Kyle Busch to the line. And looks like Kyle Busch gets a good start.
Oh, got some smoke.
Some tires locking up.
Yeah, but everybody checks up enough to keep everybody from crashing.
And we saw that in practice. There's a big bump. Oh,
here we go.
Lead.
Here we go. Harvick on the low end, and he's trying to take it away going into 3. Can he make it stick on the bottom? You saw the sparks.
Look at the sparks fly. Kevin Harvick, he's going to push really hard right here because he had a good car in the beginning of the race. He knows this is the time to jump on Kyle Busch.
And just like you said, Andy, you got to get it done early while you got the fresh tires. You said it early in the show.
Got a wreck.
Got a crash right down the front straightaway. John West Townley's involved in the 09. Looking to see if anybody else. Looks like he may have
had a big stack up here on the front straightaway. It may have been Jason Leffler in the 38 car.
Bring it to the pits. Bring it to the pits. Pull the left front out. Just look at the left front real good. Make sure that you ain't got nothing bent right there.
There is Jason Leffler. This is a tough break for Townley. He was running 14th on the lead lap.
I think he kind of gets shoved up a little bit out of the groove, and Townley just kind of got surprising and found himself way too high. Got on the ball, and then, wow, big contact with Trevor Bayne in the 99.
So Bayne gets swept up in this as an innocent bystander. And like I said, that he had his best run going in his career. He's up to 14th.
You see Jason just gets up in a dirty part of the racetrack, can't get any bite. And John West Townley gets in there. Oh, Trevor Bayne, guys, has been doing such a great job for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and tonight's just not his night.
And there's Mike Wallace actually getting a piece of it also after getting that lap back.
Let's go on board with Stephen Wallace.
Man in front of you, go low. There you go. Come on, come on. Caution's out, caution's out.
I'll tell you what, that could have been a lot worse, guys. I mean, it really could have.
Hey, you see the 38 car. It looks like you see the tail of the car. A little bit happy here.
Boy, he
struggling.
is big time loose.
So now he's starting to fall back a little bit. See Keselowski now driving on the inside of him, getting into 3. And then he's just, man, that car's all over the place.
And boy, when you're loose and you get stuck 3 wide like that, that is tough. And it looks like he just got a little bit of the piece of the left rear quarter panel of his teammate at 32 when Reed Sorensen went by also. Just a little bit.
Dave, what's the word?
Flat right rear, guys. The guys have confirmed they've taken it off the race car, and now it is flat. They're still looking for the hole on it, but definitely a flat right rear tire for Jason Leffler. It's a shame. This car was strong.
Yeah, but he's okay. I think they can get this thing kind of repaired, get the body all fixed. This is a great break for him, actually, that the caution did come out. He was going to have to make the green flag stop.
Clear all the way out. Get caught back up and come back in.
I don't think the body's hurting that car much like you said, Andy. And plus, he's got fresh tires now, and he's got full of fuel, so it's not in bad shape. And he's still on the lead lap.
Yeah, they sent him back out to keep him on that lead lap. You heard him say bring him back in. There's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. They're going to take time to change at least the right side tires. He was in 7th.
Must not like something about that set of tires because they haven't been on there long.
Yeah, there was something weird. He must have started the race or this restart and hated that because, I mean, he was in on pit. He pitted last time. Everything was fine. Something went crazy.
Look up underneath of it. Left front there, too. Letourneau. Left front, Letourneau. Look at the left front, Letourneau.
They're just trying to find something wrong. They don't like something.
Well, they're going to send him back, Dave.
They were really afraid that they might have driven through something or have something on that race car for the 16 car of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Here you're looking at that failed right rear of Jason Leffler.
All right, well, Tim Brewer, before we came out here, was in the Craftsman Tech Garage, and he put together a report on the inner liner, which is so important in situations just like this.
One of the greatest innovations that came around in a long time back in the 60s was the inner liner. When a tire's punctured, it comes down, but it actually comes down on the inner liner, and that gives the driver an opportunity to retain control. But still yet, you've got a valve on the outside area right here that keeps the outer tire inflated. You've got a valve right in this area right here, and that keeps the inner tire inflated.
And here comes Jason back in. Remember, the team said get caught up, then come back in, we'll get some more work done, and he makes his way back down pit lane.
I think he's going to be okay. I mean, what the damage I see there shouldn't hurt him too much as long as they don't have a tire rub.
Gives these guys an opportunity to cool these brakes off a little bit, too. They've been running awful hard, and there's a lot of hot brake rotors like we saw.
And there is Jason Keller. He is our Aaron's lucky dog for this second caution as they are doing another tire change. You're looking over the shoulder of Butch Waugh.
Well, this is an opportunity for these guys to get another set of tires on. That first green flag run we had kind of saved a set of tires. Most of the time they would probably have a caution early. They would use up a set. So now they'll go ahead and put another fresh set on this car and maybe get a break and get a long run and take advantage of it.
Well, after the tough break he had yesterday in practice when he hit the wall in turn number 1, they brought out the backup car, and here he is on the lead lap and back in contention. Gets another chance, and there is the 38 of Jason Leffler still in pit lane. And you can see a little bit further back the 99 of Trevor Bayne. They're working on that car as well.
It's a good move out of Jason Leffler hitting pit road again because he's the back of the pack already. He can work on that front end, really get that car shaped back up real good and make it competitive again.
Jamie, we thought the 32 might have gotten a little bit of damage in this. Is that true?
And he said he was hit a ton on the left rear, so he was asking Trent Owens, his crew chief, to look as closely as possible to see if there's any damage, any tire rub. Right now, they told him he looks clear, but they are taking caution right now on this restart as he restarts third, guys.
No, I'm trying to see anything. It looks like it's pretty good. Just a little bit of rub right there. Yeah, right.
That's what I'd worry about. Maybe having a flat tire, but the tire looks good. It just doesn't have any letters on it.
Yeah, he got hit in the left rear tire, and it didn't hurt it, though. I mean, well, we've seen all year long where the guy touches that tire with the fender, and it blows it out. He got lucky this time.
All right, well, we're getting word that a few of the cars are going to be penalized. They pitted too soon. The 38 of Jason Leffler, the 99 of Trevor Bain, and the 0 of Mike Wallace. So they are all going to have to go to the rear of the field.
Just everybody lining up for the double file restarts now. They're all trying to jockey themselves into position and get where they need to be right now.
All right, lights are out on the pace truck. So this second caution is about to go green, and we're going to go full throttle, and the telemetry you will see will be real time from our race leader Kyle Busch. So sit back and enjoy the ride.
Be easy on all these guys. Ready. Everything be cool. Be ready. Hey, cars off. Coming on down. Ready. Be ready. Be ready. Be ready. 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 Be easy on these last cars. Slow. Green light. Come on. 12's got a nose outside. He'll probably get a line, but all clear. Enter door. Still there. Enter door. You're clear. Enter bumper. Still there. Still there. Still high. Inside. Outside.
Coming inside. 38 coming inside.
Trying to come inside the 12. Inside.
You're in the middle. Clear. Too wide. Clear low. Everybody's behind you.
Still there. Hey, Bob, look at the right side of the feet. Look at the lower A-frame at the button.
Inside.
Man, did you see that, guys? The second time by, they're trying 3 wide into turn 1.
I saw that.
Here we go. Reed Sorensen, Carl Edwards. Take a look as Sorensen, he saw the sparks on Carl's car.
Well, I tell you, Sorensen's left tire just looked funny to me that time by. It looked like it was almost flat, but he's still going.
And Justin Allgaier is now back in the mix. You're looking out of his car.
I'll say he's back in it. He's in the top 5 here pushing these guys.
He has got several hundred family and friends. If you were with us with the qualifying show earlier today, they were all dressed in T-shirts. As here we go for the battle for the lead. Take a look. Harvick trying the inside line on the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Yeah, that outside lane started to come in a little bit, too. It's not a bad place to be on the outside because all that momentum up there.
Kyle holds him off, maintains the lead. We've had 5 different leaders with 8 lead changes so far.
Yeah, Kyle Busch knows if he can keep Kevin Harvick back behind him, he can make him overwork that right front tire.
Eric Darnell in the 6 going underneath the 20 of Brad Coleman. He's made it stick, and he's cleared him in less than 1 corner. That's from Brad Keselowski's car looking out the back. Race leaders in single file heading into turn number 3. Got a couple cars in the rear of the field. There was Jason Keller we saw trying to get around some slower traffic. Meanwhile, the battle up front is still nose to tail with Kyle Busch in front of Kevin Harvick.
Okay, these guys are getting racy early. These restarts are just flat getting it right now. I mean, nobody's patient at all.
Oh, look at Blitz get sideways.
And he makes a nice save, but it may cost him a position or 2. Here comes Keselowski on the inside. Darnell saw it also, so he loses 2 spots. Coleman not so lucky.
Mike Bliss real lucky, though. He saved that car. He was hung out there.
On board with Brad. Yeah, that's Bliss. Very, very loose. Take a look. That's Scott Lagasse Jr. on the 11 underneath. Into him. Here we go. Hang on. Ow.
Ah, got spun. Unbelievable.
So our 3rd caution comes out, and there's a lot of damage to the rear of Stephen Wallace's number 66 Impala.
Right, man.
And I was worried about that outside groove of these restarts, guys. It just happens.
Side, Bill, left side.
Stephen was up to 10th position when the caution comes out after he gets hit in that left rear corner panel. Well, there's bad news and there's good news for your team, Rusty, because the bad news obviously we've seen is Stephen damaged. The good news is that man right there is the Aaron's lucky dog, his teammate Brendan Gaughan, because he is in 17th and he'll be the last car now on the lead lap. And whoa, I got a sense here that Stephen's not real happy with Scott Lagasse.
Well, he's just got to use his head right now. He's hot. This is a big race for him with the sponsors being here, and just really upset.
Yep, here we go. I'm sure NASCAR is going to be looking to see if anything.
I just let him know he doesn't like the way he was racing there.
Yeah, hasn't made any contact yet. He really needs to get that car to pit lane. They can work on it.
Yeah, he's just really upset right now, and he's just got to control his temper, get it in. Like I said, it was a big race. And a fast car, but...
Go here. Quit playing around up there. Go.
Okay, let's go back and take another look from the outside.
You see, drop down in this corner right here. And there's, you know, it's just hard racing. It looked like the 11 car just moved up the racetrack a little bit. It's awful bumpy down there. It's really hard to run side by side, getting into turn one.
Well, Scott really didn't do anything wrong, Andy. Take a look at this. He gets down, and this is a classic just get loose.
Yeah, and there's just not a lot of room there. I mean, Steven's trying to keep, you know, he's wanting this spot. Steven's trying to get this spot, so he's not going to give him an extra amount of room. They're racing.
Yeah, Scott just got loose. Let's take a look at it one more time. Gets down in there, very close to Steven. We talk all the time about this is the thing you have to be careful of.
Yeah, see the back end just jump out there.
Yeah.
Hold the brake, hold the brake.
Look at that. That was 34. Tony Raines making a nice move to keep from getting involved in that as well. One more view.
You see, they're just really racing hard down in here, trying to get the advantage.
There, yeah.
Yeah, I know it looks bad, and especially it looks bad from Steven's seat. You can understand the frustration.
Well, we've got the word from NASCAR that crew chief and driver Brian Berry and Steven will be called to the trailer.
Yeah, I never liked that. Been there a few times.
Take a look on board with our crew cam.
There's Hollywood Armstrong putting a little bit of bear bond on it.
So as they continue the repairs, as we said, we're under our third caution here with 86 laps complete of 200. Well, Kyle Busch currently leads the Missouri-Illinois Dodge Dealers 250 here at Gateway International Raceway. Stop number 19 on the 2009 Nationwide Series Tour. Right alongside in this restart will be Kevin Harvick. Carl Edwards third, Reed Sorensen fourth, Justin Allgaier your top five. As the lights are out on the pace truck, cars are into turn number 3, and we are about to go back to green flag racing. We've got a total of 16 cars on the lead lap. We'll give you all the penalty details for the 66 once we get things settled down, because we're about to go back to green flag racing here at St. Louis. Boy, Kyle gets another good start.
Yeah, he's got that down pat now. He gets that car length getting in the corner on Kevin. And I think the 33 is a little faster on the get-go right now, but with that 18 having that position, he just can't quite wrestle it away from him.
But these guys have been racing side by side early, but now with Kyle getting out front like that in front of Kevin, we talked about that track position, man, is everything, but Kevin seems to catch the 18 car about 3 laps in the run and get underneath him, so we'll see if that happens again.
Look at Justin Allgaier on the outside. He's making it stick out there.
He was making that work. He was working that throttle. Reed Sorensen, on the other hand, he was working the bottom of the racetrack. Now here you got Carl Edwards working underneath him.
And Justin quickly ducked underneath as well to try and take advantage. And, oh, are they going to touch?
He's probably saying, don't touch my left rear tire. It's already beat up right now.
Heading down the backstretch, Allgaier, he's going to have the inside line. Here comes Keselowski to follow him along with Darnell in the 6.
Well, Allgaier drives way deep in the corner. He's going to get that spot.
As we go on board with Brad Keselowski, you'll get our Holiday Inn race summary. And we've had 5 leaders with 8 lead changes so far. Average speed of 104 and change as guys head on down the backstretch. 16 cars right now on the lead lap. 13 of our laps have been under caution. Here goes Reed Sorensen looking under Allgaier.
They're just trying real hard to get underneath each other. He's got that good position on the bottom side of the racetrack right now. But boy, see that rear end step out a little bit? just a little bit stepping out on him, holding on to that thing. It's just getting loose early here now.
While all this is going on, we'll give you the abbreviated penalties. 2 laps. Stephen Wallace was held for all the actions that took place on the track. He'll have a visit with the NASCAR officials. He can only get one of those laps back, courtesy of the lucky dog. He's going to have to drive the other one. Look at Allgaier. He's got that outside line, and if some people see that working, we might see some more guys trying it. In fact, Eric Darnell's following him right now.
Sorensen's not giving up on the bottom. He's going to keep working him on the bottom and get this spot.
Well, the top of the racetrack's not too bad right now, Andy, like we talked earlier, because it's starting to widen out a little bit.
The track is starting to widen out, and it does that after they run enough laps to put rubber up there.
Take a look at the battle for the lead. Kevin Harvick going down the backstretch into turn 3. Oh, and we've got a caution coming out.
Out into 1.
Looks like the 05 of Casey Atwood.
It looks like Kevin Harvick got the lead before the caution came out.
We'll wait for NASCAR officials to give us the exact word.
And it's all about where you took the lead, because there's loops all around this racetrack.
And we have been told it will be Kevin Harvick, the leader. Casey was running 23rd at the time of this incident. Don't know exactly what happened to him that got him off track. He's got a lot of steam coming out.
Yeah, we may see some leaders pit here. We've had quite a few cautions in a row, but all the while we're clicking off laps. The last time Kevin Harvick was on pit road was lap 58. We're at 94.
And this time around, as we're in our 4th caution, the Aaron's Lucky Dog will go to the 15 of Michael Annett. So that'll put 17 cars back on the lead lap.
They could easily make it on one stop from here. I think we'll see some leaders come down pit road. Here comes Harvick. Going to bring the parade down pit road, all the lead lap cars.
Well, we've got, looks like Kyle Busch has stayed out. And it looks like Kevin Harvick has come in. Reed Sorensen looks like he's coming in. This is going to get interesting here.
This is.
Now, Harvick last pitted on lap 58. We're on working lap 95. Jamie?
And Reed Sorensen said he's getting really, really loose, especially on the bottom when somebody is next to him. Right now, they called for right sides only and a track bar adjustment. Of course, the no-go fuel for the 32. Let's go to Mike.
And Kevin Harvick said he could stand to be just a little bit freer. It's a 4-tire change. That's the call by Ernie Cope. Also, Sunoco race fuel and an air pressure adjustment. They'll add some tape to the grill. They complete their work on the left side, and they're away, Dave.
Brad Keselowski wanted a full load of fuel and 2 right side tires, and he's already gone.
All right. This is going to be interesting. Take a look at the race off pit road. Brad Keselowski picks up 4 spots. Jason Keller gets 7. Kevin Harvick loses 6 in that exchange.
It looks like some of these guys did 2 tires like Sorensen and Harvick.
Yeah, a lot of them
4
did.
for sure.
Heard that Allgaier may have had a close call here. Look out. Here comes Darnell.
This is a very narrow pit road.
They did touch a little bit, but looks like neither one suffered any serious damage. All right, we're going to take a short break as we're under our 4th caution here. We're approaching midway at St. Louis. All right, back here at Gateway International Raceway in Madison, Illinois, just east of St. Louis. Kyle Busch is your race leader. He stayed out. He last pitted on lap 62. Now, see how long he takes. The commitment is the grass. You just can't drive over the grass. And Kyle is there, and then
He's there. Nope, I think I'll stay out.
And Carl went with him. So it's Edwards 2nd. Scott Lagasse Jr. is 3rd. Jason Leffler is back to 4th. Remember all the contact he had to fix? What a great job they have done. Brad Keselowski is 5th. We have been told by NASCAR the 66 of Stephen Wallace has been held another lap for, how do I put this, an improper hand gesture to the 11 crew. We'll leave it go at that.
You know, I like what Kevin Harvick did. I like that he pitted. He had 36 laps on his tires. I like that insurance with having those new tires because he's in a lead lap. He's got a fast car.
Yeah, he's in 11th spot on this restart.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. He's in a little bit of a dangerous spot on the restart, but he definitely got better tires and more fuel.
All right, well, we've got a moment because we've still got at least one more lap under this current caution as the field makes its way around this 1 1/4 mile circuit. The lights do go out, so we'll go green this time. Let's take a look at our Verizon Wireless race rundown. It started with Brad Keselowski on the pole, but as we pointed out, only once in 12 prior races has the pole winner won this event, and Brad started backing up almost from the get-go as this was Kevin Harvick. Gave him one little nudge, but then made a pass on him and took over the race lead, and he has now led a total of 58 laps so far. Longest green flag run we've ever had here at St. Louis, 67 laps before we had our first caution. But then, well, there's only 13 green flag laps total in the last 3 cautions. We've had all kinds of contact, as you can see, and this is the one that got Steven up on the tire, so to speak, with Scott Lagacy. And then our last one was the 05 of Casey Atwood.
Okay, now if we get another long green flag run, this is definitely going to play into Kevin Harvick's hands because he's going to have 30 extra laps now that he can run after those guys have to pit.
That is the first car a lap down, Tony Raines, and he is hoping for another quick caution. That would put him back on the lead lap. You see the difference between that and first place Kyle Busch as we come out of turn 4. It's Busch, Edwards, Leffler, Lagacy, and Sorensen waiting for the flag. And we're back to green flag racing here at Gateway.
Carl Edwards able to go right toe-to-toe with the 18 on that restart. But Kyle beats him down in the corner just a little bit.
Sort of say, we've been seeing Kevin Harvick in the 18 car back and forth. Kyle Busch. Let's see what Carl Edwards can do with him. Let's see how he can run against him.
Look at Leffler. I'm really impressed. Leffler's coming underneath Carl Edwards for second place. That car's been through a war, and there he is in second place. Look out! Contact. Reed Sorensen. A couple of cars. No, Lagacy makes a save, and Brad Keselowski keeps it from going in the wall.
And they're still 3 wide. Still 3 wide.
It has cost both of them a lot of positions, but man, they are still in one piece.
And they're 3 wide, getting down into turn 1 again right now. Whoa!
Oh, we got contact again, and we got cars going around into the wall. And Lagacy is tagged.
Man,
he has hit the wall hard with the back end of that Camry.
Man, he did a great job saving.
For Steven.
Uh-oh.
Sounds like they're saying that Brendan gave him a payback.
Boy, when I saw them all going 3 wide down into turn 1, I said, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to fit.
That's a 62, Roman.
Well, this is our 5th caution right now, and we'll get a chance to look at it and see what happened. A lot of damage, though, to that 11.
Boy, these restarts are wow.
All right, this is earlier.
Okay, you see Reed Sorensen now driving on the inside of Lagacy. Gets into the left rear. Lagacy does a great job right here to save the car.
Yeah, Scott holds on really good. Nice job right there.
But now they're all bottled up. Still 3 wide coming off the corner here.
Okay, now there's the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. He is right in the middle of this mix. And, well,
looks like another hard racing incident to me. Just 3 wide getting into turn 1. That's a very narrow entry corner.
From the 62 on board.
You know, you got a guy like the 11 car struggling and going back, and you just want to try to go ahead and take advantage of it and get down in the corner. That's what Brendan was trying to do. Slips up just a little bit on the inside of Scott Lagacy. Man, that's just too bad.
Well, you know, I could see how all the teams are all mad, but I'm telling you, that's just racing. I mean, what happened with Legacy into Steven was just racing. That wasn't Scott's fault. And I don't believe that was Brendan's fault either. It's just tight quarters getting down into there, guys.
Well, we showed you the 34, Tony Raines. Remember, we said he would want an early caution because he could get the Aaron's lucky dog. Well, he has. And he will get back on the lead lap. Here comes Brad Keselowski into pit lane. 45 miles an hour all the way down to the very last pit. Dave Burns, it's all yours.
And of course they want to check that right front fender, and or I guess it's the left sides they're worried about with the tires, so they'll change those. Remember, he just came in a while back and changed 2 right side tires, so this will get him, how did they used to say it in the movies, a perfectly matched set.
Yeah, Dave, one thing that they'd lost all that track position because of that big chain reaction. And so why not just come on down here? They're one of the last cars on the lead lap. Just come and get the other left sides they didn't get when they took rights earlier.
All right, so we're under our 5th caution. We've passed halfway. We're working lap 103 here at Gateway. All of this was the easy part, the early goings, the first 67 laps or so, and then, well, it's been carnage ever since the last 35 laps here at Gateway International. Let's talk about what's coming up tomorrow night, a special night of sports action on ESPN. Sunday Night Baseball at 6 Eastern. It's the Mets and the Braves. And then at 9 Eastern, the 2009 ESPYs with host Samuel L. Jackson. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell and the 09 ESPYs presented by Under Armour and Land Rover.
Hey, Harvick gained 3 spots after that quick caution. Lining up in the 8th spot now with 4 new tires.
Pace truck has pulled off. This good crowd, very good crowd here at Gateway International Raceway has seen a lot of action. And leader has taken the inside again. Kyle Busch with Carl Edwards on his outside heading into turn 1 as we're back to green flag racing.
I got to tell you, what I've seen early here, I think I'd want the inside too. It's a little safer down there. Everybody on the outside looks like they're getting.
Here we go. Looks like it'll be 3 wide.
Whoa, and look at Carl. Gets around Kyle and Leffler in that damaged 38 Camry. Looks like he may get him as well.
And this is the first time Carl's been up front. And remember, going into this thing, we talked about how strong Carl is at this racetrack. Kind of his hometown. He lives in Columbia, Missouri. He wants to win bad in front of these St. Louis fans.
Did his annual 200-mile bike ride up the other day. Just finished up here Thursday. Look at that bump. You can see the sparks. Carl becomes our 6th different leader, I believe.
Look at Harvick working inside Reed Sorensen.
Boy, Kyle Busch is just all over the rear bumper of Carl Edwards, getting him loose, getting at the corners. And tell you what, that's a classic way to pass a guy. You don't touch him. You just get him really arrow loose, and he'll get loose and slide up. You'll drive underneath of him doing that.
Let me correct myself. It's 5 leaders. It's now up to 11 lead changes. We've had a lot of slicing and dicing, especially right now. Here we go again. Kyle Busch looking on the inside of Carl, heading down into 1.
Dead heat at the line.
Hey, these guys are running close. Hey, is it okay for me to close my eyes a little bit? It's getting me nervous.
Look at the run Mike Bliss has had. Remember what Jamie Little said? He was fearing the restarts. Well, we've had plenty of them now with all these recent cautions. And Bliss is running strong in 4th. Meanwhile, Mike Massaro has caught up with Scott Lagasse Jr.
And as you might imagine, Marty, a not very happy Scott Lagasse. What happened out there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm baffled here. You know, I just hate it for America's Incredible Pizza Company, CJM Racing. We had a great race car, you know, driving forward, and to end up like that, it's a little frustrating. You know, there were a couple things happened there that got used up a little bit.
You mentioned a couple things. It wasn't just that last incident. It seemed like you were in the middle of things for the past 20 laps or so. How would you describe the racing out there right now?
It's a little wild right now, but I mean, some of that stuff's uncalled for. You know, I think driving across the grass and curb getting in is a little bit aggressive. And then what happened right there, I don't know. To take us out of it, it's very frustrating. So I had a good car. We figured we would get Pizza Company the run they deserve. Ride Makers is here, so it's fun for that. But I hate it for these guys because they did a good job all weekend.
And despite the disappointment, guys, you could tell Scott Lagasse, a class act, went around to each one of his team members after the crash, after he got out of the car, thanking them for all the efforts they put in this weekend.
Well, as they continue to work to try and get the car put back together, action back out on the track. As you take a look, that's Kevin Harvick right there in 5th. On board with Mike Bliss looking back.
Got a car high in 3 and 4.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who it is. Yeah, there it is. The 81 of Michael McDowell. So it looks like he's got some tire problems. Yeah, maybe on the right side. Yep, on the right front. There it is.
He's been in the wall pretty hard, too.
Yeah, he got into turn 3 and really clobbered that wall while we were on a different shot. I looked out the window. I actually seen him hit that wall.
Still green with the caution's not out.
Yeah, if he can get that thing back to pit road and
he's got a long way to go. He's got to go a full lap to get back to the pit road.
Nice part about it is he can get on the infield there. That takes him off the race line.
Yeah, if this car was shedding parts and throwing debris all over the track, they'd have to throw the caution flag, but he's on the inside warm-up road like you guys have said, and that's not an issue right now.
McDowell had a decent run going for that team. He was up to 19th when this problem occurred, and you can see he's hugging the inside, and it looks like we'll stay green here at Gateway with your leader, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards in pursuit. That's the way they are in the points championship, first and second. Jason Leffler still is amazing me in this beat-up Toyota, and he has maintained third position. There you see him at the top of your screen. A little bit further back in fourth is Kevin Harvick with Mike Bliss rounding out your top 5.
Well, Marty, like you talked about Jason Leffler being beat up, but you know, as we look at his car, it's got the paint scraped off it, but the body looks perfect on it. He fixed it. He spent some time. He's got a good car. Dave?
And Rusty, remember, he had that right rear tire that went down that caused one caution on lap 74. Then on lap 85, they came back down pit road to take this out of the car. This battery is still not charging, so they replaced it with one that would charge. Unfortunately, then Jason said, hey, the voltage meter's still bobbing up and down. It's going from 12 volts to nothing, 12 to nothing. So they're going to go get another battery, not put this one back in, because it ain't taking a charge, and have one standing by just in case. This car's beat up, but it's fast.
It is definitely fast, as he is still maintaining third place.
Well, at least he took the time to fix his car from all the problems that happened early in the event. And it's paying off for him right now, sitting in third position. And he just came by and ran a 33.62 second lap. That matched Kyle Busch, so he's got a fast car.
Let's update you. Michael McDowell in the 81. There he is. He did make it safely to pit lane, so no yellow was brought out. So we stay green, working lap number 115 of 200. There's your top 5. Who's going to win this? Stay with us to find out. Working lap 119 of 200 here at the Missouri-Illinois Dodge Dealers 250, and Kyle Busch is in front by just about a half a second over Carl Edwards. And Busch has now led in the last 16 nationwide races. The record for the most consecutive races, Sam Ard in 19. Take a look at the fuel window. Remember, Kyle Busch last pitted on lap 62. Carl Edwards on lap 64. Jason Leffler on lap 87. Guess who has the advantage?
See, that's the problem. I like what Harvick did by pitting there, Andy, and now Kyle Busch is stuck out there, maybe having to pit under green and lose a bunch of laps because of that.
Take a look. That was Justin Allgaier. You're looking out the back of his number 12. Whoa! And Reed Sorensen got awfully close to the wall. And on board now is Stephen Light. This is all for position. Allgaier 6th, Sorensen 7th, Light is 8th.
Yeah, Stephen Light finally got his car fixed. They spent some time on pit road earlier making changes under some of those cautions. His car is back going forward.
There's Brad Coleman also in this mix. Let's get you nationwide up to speed with an opportunity up to speed. Here's what we mean. Let's start off with Jamie Little.
And we're talking about the 29 of Stephen Light. You guys just mentioned he's gotten his car fixed. He has struggled with it quite a bit tonight. His car was on the tight side. Now it's gone the opposite direction. It has been loose. Last pit stop, he came in at lap 102. He took right sides only. We have a crash on the track.
Oh, and it is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. And sorry, Rusty, it has been a very expensive night for your team.
Yeah, that's racing, guys. It just happens. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Brendan was 13th at the time. Stenhouse Jr. was 12th. So these guys were duking it out for position. So we've lost both of our in-race reporters, at least for now.
It's like Stenhouse trying to get his car back to the pit area. Not having a lot of luck.
Waiting to see if Brendan can get his car to move. I don't think he can. He's trying.
That's where you just need to.
Well, he's got it going a little, but no, it's not going far. He shut it off.
No, we're done, Brian. We're done. All right, let's get to the garage. Let's get ready.
All right, let's go back and take another look, see what happened.
Wow, looked like maybe Brendan got real loose getting in the corner.
Yeah, that car just shot up clear across the track.
And did you remember we had the inside view and he was pointing at himself, like I think Brendan was telling him it was his fault.
Yeah, Brendan said it was my fault. I just wonder if that thing blew a right front tire out going into turn 1 or something.
It shot to the right real quick.
It never even made the turn. My fault.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least he's man enough to put blame on himself when it is, and he's taking a look at damage. And so we've lost one of our 2 in-race reporters. Our other one is 8 laps down in 29th right now, Stephen Wallace. And as we mentioned, he still has a visit coming to the NASCAR hauler at the end of the race. We can tell you that John West Townley is going to get the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass this time in our 6th caution. That'll give us 15 cars back on the lead lap.
Yeah, we lost 2 lead lap cars in that crash, but we get one back with the Lucky Dog.
The left side tires off. Sorry for the damage. Just pull the tires off. You can put the left front back on, Chris. Keep yours off, Ryan. It'll look everything over.
Now, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is pitting early, but as you can tell by the amount of damage, I don't think that's the major problem right now.
Not going to worry too much about that. Just get in here and try to get it fixed.
What is this debris out on the track there?
Yeah, it's like
that a battery?
I believe it is.
Holy smokes.
Probably the backup battery out of one of these cars.
Unbelievable. I've never seen a battery on the track.
What is going on? That is in the 18 pit. They got him in the wrong pit.
Well, see, he pitted too soon, and now he's kind of stalled in their pit stall. They're getting ready to make a pit stop.
Boy, I'll tell you, old Jason Ratcliffe.
Yeah, here come the leaders down pit road.
He was getting a little nervous, wasn't he?
He was getting nervous because here comes everybody down pit road, so that's why he was up on the tire. And this time Kyle is coming, as here comes the parade. Carl Edwards as well. There's Mike Bliss peeling off.
What was that, a lucky
Stephen
break
Light,
for
the
18 car?
Jamie Little, we're going to send it your way.
And Reed Sorensen in the 32. He's been a pinball pretty much tonight. The last damage, right front quarter panel is bent in, and that was from the 11 damaged right sides. And we're going to go to Dave.
Leader Kyle Busch's crew regroups per their crew chief. They'll go back down on that track bar a little bit loose and a 4-tire change. Meanwhile, the 60 of Carl Edwards running in second comes down pits road. He'll lug 4 tires as well. He says the car is good, actually very good, but he wants a little more grip. Air pressure adjustment for Carl.
And it looks like Eric Darnell got out, as well as Kyle Busch. There is Carl. Then a little bit further back, there's Jason Leffler, Stephen Light, Mike Bliss, and Reed Sorensen. Jamie, what's going on?
Still changing 4 now. Still changing 4.
They're still calling for a 4, as you just heard the audible there. As I said, he's had quite a bit of damage, and actually the last pit stop they found they had a leak in the right rear, and that was from getting hit earlier in the night. They're looking it over, taking precautionary actions. The 32 is down and away, guys.
Okay. Well, he's like I said, he's going to be at the back of the lead lap, but there's only 15 cars on the lead lap, and with the double foul restart, really gives him a chance to get back towards the front. Stay with us. Still more to come. Well, you want to draw a parallel between drag racing? How about the pit crews for the Nationwide Series? They get these moments of sheer panic and terror, followed by a long period, usually a long period, of just waiting. Well, they've had a lot of those moments of panic and terror lately because we've had a total of 6 cautions now for 27 laps. And so let's get ready to talk about the calendar. And speaking of racing, Traxxas Torque Truck Series presented by AMSOIL will be on ESPN2 at 11:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. And then tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, it will be the NHRA guys in action. They'll be going a little bit faster, probably about 300 miles an hour in the quarter mile, well, at least to 1,000 feet. NASCAR Now presented by the Home Depot on Monday at 5 Eastern. And then the Nationwide Series, we make our next stop at O'Reilly Raceway Park in Indy, 7:30 Eastern Saturday night. That's on ESPN. And of course, we start our Sprint Cup Series schedule, Brickyard 400 presented by Golden Corral, Sunday, July 26, 12:30 Eastern on ESPN. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is going behind the wall. And let's check in with Dave Burns.
And Marty, he actually stepped out of the car and behind the wall where we could talk to him. Ricky, talk about what you think happened with Brendan Gaughan out there in turns 1 and 2.
I'll tell you what happened. Our City Financial Ford Fusion was pretty good all day. We were working on it, getting it better and better. We took 2 tires there. Some of the other guys had 4, but he got a good run on us, and then got a little bit of a run and tried to dive bomb it in there and just crashed us. But you know, it seemed like he had crashed a few times earlier tonight. He's been crashing all night. But, you know, our City Financial guys, they did an awesome job. Our Ford Fusion was running pretty decent. I think we could have got a top 10 out of it maybe, but it's pretty unfortunate that we crashed here. We had some good momentum going there at Milwaukee, but we'll have to go on to Iowa and forget about it.
All right, thanks, Ricky. Glad he's okay. Jamie, what's Brendan's side of the story?
Well, Brendan just came out and he was looking at our little monitor here and saw the kid, and what'd you say?
Nah, I mean, I'd have to take a little bit more of the blame than Ricky would. Ricky and I both were battling hard. We're both running right near the top 10. And we got 1,000 U.S. Fidelis folks in the grandstands, you know, the home track for him. Steven was already having a bad day, so we were the last bastion of it. And Brian Berry made great adjustments, and I just tried to drive in there, locked up the front brakes, and Ricky was right there with me, and we just pounded each other. I mean, I'm going to take the blame. I got the rookie stripe, but I'm a veteran. I can't use that excuse.
How would you describe the racing out there tonight? We've seen quite a few cautions all of a sudden.
It's pretty wild tonight. I'll tell you what. It's the fans are getting their money's worth with the double file, you know, shootout style restarts. It makes it really interesting. But you know, it's a great race. The great weather in St. Louis for a change. This is fantastic, and hopefully, I don't know what Chevy's up there. We got Kevin up front. Let's go KHI.
All right, he's still optimistic, and the good news is he's okay. Marty.
13 cars are now out of this race as we're going to go full throttle. So our race leader, Kevin Harvick, you'll be able to see his real-time telemetry as they come around. And behind him is Justin Allgaier in second. Brad Keselowski has fought his way back to third. Tony Raines, he was the lucky dog in that 34 2 cautions ago. And he is going to be fourth. Kyle Busch. Eric Darnell is fifth. Kyle Busch is sixth. Carl Edwards is seventh. The race leader has chosen the inside lane again for this restart, and I guess you better cinch up your belts and get ready to go one more time. See if we can survive turn one. There is the real-time telemetry, and we're going to step aside and let you go full throttle.
That's like next to the car behind you. That's all I'm comfortable waiting. All right, bud. Be ready here. Don't jump your start. Hey, car's off. Coming on down. Ready. Nice and smooth through the gearbox. Be ready. Smooth here. Be ready. Ready. Green flag. Green flag. Green flag. Clear the bottom. Going real good here. Outside cover. Clear. Still outside. We're low. You're right there. Still outside. You guys, 34 is going to hold that top lane up. Still outside. Still inside. Right here. Bring back to the 88. Back that corner up. Just like you were before. Back to the 1. Clear. Clear. Corner. Clear. Corner. Now the 34. Got the 34 on the bottom. Trying to look outside the 1. Corner. Outside. Clear. I know you're busy. Nice and hot. Inside. 38 right with the 34.
You heard him talk about Tony Raines. He had that outside line, and there he is as he is shuffled back to sixth place. Now,
out of control.
Little loose, may have had a little help from Eric Darnell, but he makes a nice recovery. But he's going to be a sitting duck here if he can't get the throttle back down.
He scared half the field right there getting in that corner.
Guys, that turn one, that big bump going into turn one is driving these guys crazy right now, and they're getting out of control getting that corner when these things bottom out right there. They're locking up brakes, sliding around. Makes for good racing, though.
Yeah, it does. I love these restarts.
On board with Mike Bliss. He's on the high side. That is Tony Raines underneath him. Look at this log jam coming down. That's Eric Darnell in the sixth leading the pack into turn one. He is in sixth position. Everybody else is fighting for it.
See, Sorensen now got his car fixed. Some of the damage he had, he's coming forward.
Take a look at the battle for third. That's Kyle Busch going around the 88 of Brad Keselowski. Does he have him cleared? He does now, and here comes Jason Leffler. This is amazing. I'm loving this. This is so much fun watching Leffler stay in this mix.
Leffler's got a fast car, guys. I mean, it might be all scraped up, and it looks like he got a little left rear quarter panel damage this last time. I see that fender hanging out a little bit.
One thing they've done, they've got the shape of this car right. It does look bad, all the tire marks and everything on it, but the shape of the car is right. So it's still running real well. Here comes Brad Coleman inside the 60 car of Carl Edwards.
And that's a battle for 11th on the track right now. Edwards has it. Coleman wants it. Tony Raines has dropped back to 10th. And you see he's got a little damage in that right rear quarter panel. And look at 27. Jason Keller. Remember, he's in a backup car, and here he is running in the lead lap in 13th position.
And then there's Scott Wimmer, the 40 car, the first car one lap down. He's in that spot to get that lap back now if the caution comes out. Here's second.
Here we go. Kyle Busch has Justin Allgaier in his sights. Kyle's going to go underneath him and take the spot.
Boy, Kyle just settled that baby down in the corner, just drove it in good and straight so it wouldn't get loose, and got right past Allgaier. Now he's got that clean air again on that nose. Can pull out now.
A little bit further back, we got the 60 and the 34. That's Carl Edwards on the right side of your screen. The yellow 34 is Tony Raines. That is for position. Raines hits that bump. You see the sparks.
And boy, that area right there getting into turn one has been the problem place all night long, where these guys are getting loose.
So Carl clears Tony. Here comes Brad Coleman. So after getting up to fourth, Tony's finding it hard to stay there, and he's backing up. Here comes Jason Keller as well, and then the 40 of Scott Wimmer, who is our first car a lap down. Back up front, Kevin Harvick has now led 68 laps. Kyle Busch in second place has led 60. Who's going to win this? Well, we're getting closer to finding out. There you see the scoring pylon here at Gateway International Raceway, and you can see we're working lap number 140 of 200, 60 to go. And you're looking at Ernie Cope on the pit box, and now we're looking out on the track, and there goes your race leader, Kevin Harvick. And you guys made the comment during the break. We were watching him. He is driving that thing as hard as he can.
He really is. He's putting everything into this, trying to keep this car up front. Now you see the 18 car. He's chipping away at that lead about a 1/10 of a second a lap.
And one thing you got to remember, Kevin Harvick's car, this is his own car. He owns this. I mean, they're out there working on this thing, designing cars. He's not driving for somebody else. This is his own deal, and he's really trying to put a good show on tonight for himself, his sponsors around this area, everybody.
Well, and the other reason Kyle Busch would like to get around is to get back into contention for those 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. Right now, Kevin Harvick has led 75. Kyle has led 60. Kyle, talk to us about handicapping the championship battle.
I think everybody sort of pinpoints Carl and myself as being the 2 main competitors for the championship, but I wouldn't count out Brad Keselowski or some of the other regular nationwide guys. Jason Leffler, some other guys just might hit it and get on a roll.
And that's an interesting observation, but I do believe everybody is sort of looking at this as a 2-guy race right now, the way these two have been duking it out. There you see the battle going on. That is for position. Justin Allgaier in the 12, Jason Leffler in the 38. That is for third.
And I'll tell you, that was a smart move that Allgaier just did. Let him go. He's been beating me up. He's been all over me. He hasn't touched him, but he's been so close. He's making Justin loose, and he said, hey, just go ahead. Got a lot of time to race yet.
So as he stretches it out there, up in front is Kevin Harvick. There's Kyle Busch. You want to talk about laps led all time? Take a look at this stat. Mark Martin, of course, the all-time leader. Kyle is now second on that list. And tonight, Kevin Harvick has broken through the 6,000 barrier and is third on that list. Dave Burns, you've got more on Kyle Busch?
He's not going to press Kevin Harvick too much right now. He knows that Kevin stopped on pit road 27 laps earlier than he did. And Kyle, if he's smart and if he needs the strategy, he could perhaps save the 7 or so laps of fuel with a few cautions that they need to get to the end without stopping anymore. How about that?
That would be a stretch. I mean, he stopped at lap 124. That means he's going to go 76 laps.
Yeah, it's not out of the question that he can go that far.
I said earlier, I kind of liked how Kevin pitted that last time to get all that fuel, but this time he stayed out, and now he's got close to 50 laps on it.
All right, he's got about 33 laps based on some of the graphs. Well, he last pitted on lap 124.
Well, if he knows he's not going to make another pit stop, there's absolutely no reason to try to push Kevin Harvick right now, because Kevin Harvick absolutely has to make a pit stop. So why would you go up there and abuse your car to try to take the lead?
Now, Harvick last pitted on lap 95. Here we are working lap 146. So you can see, I mean, he's got about 10 to 14 laps max before he's going to have to come in. Mike Massaro, what are they saying?
Well, I give you more precise measurement. Ernie Cope came over the radio not too long ago and said they can go to about lap 171.
Okay. Yes, they got a few more laps than that. They can go to 171.
So that was the 14 figure we were looking at. So
still have to pit.
We're going to find out how this plays out when we come back to Gateway. We are 3/4 of the way through this race, the 13th time that we've run here in the Nationwide Series at Gateway International. You're looking at the race leader, Kevin Harvick. He has a 0.7 of a second lead over Kyle Busch. Then you see Jason Leffler in the 38. Move a little further. There's Justin Allgaier. Brad Keselowski rounds out your top 5, and he is 4 seconds behind the race leader. Let's go with a Nationwide up to speed for position 6 on back. Jamie Little.
Well, the 6 car is what we're talking about right now. Eric Darnell, I've been very impressed with him tonight. He has been fighting a tight race car. Every single stop they've made, they've gone up at least about 2 rounds on the track bar. Every time, that's how severe it is. The car is finally starting to come around. The kid is keeping it right now in 6th position. I wouldn't be surprised if he got in the top 5. Behind him, Reed Sorensen. Remember, he came in. He's in front of him now. He got around him there. The 32, though, they made the decision last time when they pitted to take that extra time to pull that right front fender out. Great decision. It cost him some time, but hey, guys, it's working out. The car is good, Dave.
All right, that white car back there is Carl Edwards. He just got around his teammate Darnell. And what about his fuel situation? Does he have to save anything? Listen.
How much do I need to save? Nothing. Save nothing. Save nothing. Dig hard, man. You're really close to making it. You should make it. You will make it. Don't save nothing. It's really close.
You should make it. Yeah, you will make it. Go for it. Come on, Carl. Try to win. Jamie.
Good radio right behind him. The 1 car of Mike Bliss. Hey, he's surviving those restarts. Remember, he was telling me he had so many nerves about those double file starts. It's paying off for him. Car has been good all weekend. Tight tonight. He's had loose and tight conditions right now. So far, so good. Mike.
And Brad Coleman's been battling a clutch problem. It's practically gone. He said he's lost at least 80% of it. The last thing he wants to see happen is have to make a green flag pit stop. He's hoping that is not the case. He stopped under the last caution. He's been saving fuel ever since, but they're going to be very, very close, Jamie.
And in the 29, Stephen Light making an appearance. He was out of the car for 4 races. Remember, this team won 2 races ago with Clint Boyer, so Clint's name is on the door. But right now, the 29 car coming around to him, that last stop, they took right sides, made a track bar adjustment as he looks to make it in the top 5. Behind him, the 27, Jason Keller. Well, we talked about him tonight. He wrecked his primary car, but then the team had told me today secretly, this is a better car than we had. It's a newer model. It's lighter. They knew that if they could survive this race, it was going to be a good car. This is Jason's track. Last year, he finished 3rd. It was his best finish all year. Right now, he's on the move forward. Dave?
Michael Annett in the 15 car runs 13th. Early in the race, the car was good in the center of the 1 and 2, but loose in the center of 3 and 4. Later, it started coming to him, and he was feeling very comfortable. And got the lucky dog on lap 95. So car's a little bit free. They're going to stay out till the end. They're not going to save any fuel. Go for it, Michael, and try to keep that top 15 run going. Jamie?
And Tony Raines, a veteran driver, making another appearance in the Nationwide Series. And that 34 car, we saw him pop up quite a few times along Don Silver's car. Not saying a whole lot, been running around about this position the entire race. Car has been good, guys.
All right, Jamie, thank you very much. You know, no surprise, Tony is doing well here. His last 2 trips to Gateway, he has finished in the top 10, and he is the last car on the lead lap in 14th right now. And we have 13 cars behind the wall as we are working lap number 157 of 200. Jason Leffler still looking for that elusive first win of the year. Kyle Busch looking for number 6, and Kevin Harvick wants to spoil the party for all of them and win for 3 times here at Gateway. Top of your screen is the race leaders. That is Kevin Harvick, followed closely by Kyle Busch, and then 3rd place Jason Leffler, as we are working lap number 162 of 200 here at Gateway International Raceway.
Marty, it's nervous time right now for Kevin Harvick. He's scheduled in about another 9 laps. He's going to be out of fuel, and he is just hoping for a caution flag real quick right now because he decided to stay out that last time, and he last pitted at lap 95. These rest of these guys pitted at 124, and look at that.
Yeah, you can see, looking at the fuel window, Kyle Busch, Jason Leffler, they both came in at lap 124. Kevin at lap 95. You do the math. We've already heard from pit lane, and it's lap 171 when he has to make this stop. Moving a little further back, there's Justin Allgaier as he is running a strong fourth, padding his Rookie of the Year lead. And he talked about racing here at Gateway.
This was the very first speedway, I guess if you will, that I ever drove on it. And I can remember parking a van. We were here in a van, and I parked out just coming out of turn 4. And I can remember looking down the front straightaway saying to myself, I will never ever get used to this. This place is way too big. I'm going to be completely out of my element. And I can remember the first time driving around a race car. It was the funnest thing I'd ever done, and I was hooked from there on.
Of course, Justin, one of the Penske drivers, and oh, take a look at this. We're going to go 3 wide. That's Carl Edwards on the right side. Reed Sorensen, they're still going after it, and that's Brad Keselowski, who thought better of being on the high side heading for that wall.
Well, Reed had run down Keselowski in the 32. He'd run down the 88 car, and when he got there, made the pass, I think Carl said, I'll just see if I can get by both of them.
Brad's taking a measure of the 60, seeing if he can get up underneath Carl, but this is for position on the racetrack. It's 5th, 6th, and 7th. On board with Brad.
Yeah, about 5 more laps. Kevin Harvick, that big lead he's got, or that good lead he's had all night long, might go away if they don't get a caution flag here, guys.
His lead is now 1 full second over Kyle Busch. Another second back to Leffler in 3rd, and that's what it looks like from our view far away. And as we talk about the 38, what's going on in that camp, Dave?
Marty, you see that new paint scheme on the 38? It's called Gremlins, and they're all in the battery right now. Battery once again showing no voltage to Jason Leffler. He doesn't feel it in the motor yet, but his biggest problem, however, is that they are going to be 10 laps short on fuel unless they get some caution. That's their plan, unless to come to pit road, unless they see the yellow flag again and can save some fuel. But that battery thing may kill them before that.
Well, if they're showing no voltage and the car's still running, there's a bad gauge, because that car won't run with 0 voltage. It has to have about 8 or 9 volts to even make that ignition box work. So the fact that it's still running and running well is a good sign.
Yeah, I wouldn't even worry about it if it says 0 and it's still running. Exactly right. I mean, that's a good analogy. You know, I know when I'm home and my battery's 0, my car doesn't start. It won't even run. This baby's running fine.
But the key thing I picked up out of that conversation was Scott Zipadelli is saying, we're not going to make it. We're going to be short. Well, guess what? He stopped at lap 124, as did Kyle Busch. And just about everybody else other than Allgaier and Harvick in that top 6 group.
Well, that's 76 laps you got to run. I think that's asking for a lot. I really do.
But yet we heard other teams saying,
a little more fuel right here, bud. You got no pressure. I'll let you know when somebody gets close. Conserve as much as you can. Let it roll as far as you can.
Yeah, you see, you know, they are real close to making it. If they can stretch it a few laps and the driver can help, they can make it to the end. Not all these cars get the same fuel mileage. Some guys can jet their cars to make better fuel mileage, and they work on it. Some don't. Some just try to jet it for power.
Well, as we get ready to go to commercial break, we can tell you Kevin Harvick has taken the 5 bonus points away from Kyle Busch. He has clinched the most laps led tonight at 102. Kevin Harvick has just run out of fuel. We are working lap 172. They tried to stretch it. One too many.
Yeah, they said 171 as far as they could go, and they should have made that pit stop right there. This is going to absolutely kill Kevin Harvick. No chance now, because he's losing way too much ground now.
Yeah, and he's got to get this thing fired up with squirting some extra fuel down the line they have to try to prime this engine up and get it going, and that is hard to do. But man, I tell you, he said 171 originally, and they ran out at 171. So what a tough deal this is.
Justin Allgaier also on pit road.
Yep, there's Justin Allgaier, as he was another one who had stopped earlier back at lap 95. And Harvick slowly making his way down pit lane. He's got to come right to the start finish line. That's where his pit is located.
Tough break. I mean, such a good car.
Agonizing.
It is. It's terrible.
Of those laps he stayed out, 61 were green. He needed to come in 1 sooner.
Yeah, and the problem now is just trying to get it started. It's going to be very difficult to get started.
There's a start. Push in the back of the, pull the vent out of it, and then pump the gas, and try to start it.
See the engine guy up there pumping fuel into the little tube, squeezing that bottle, and that fuel is going down in that carburetor right now. He's trying to get this thing fired up.
88 car has been on and off pit road also, Brad Keselowski.
So he's made his final stop, and they are still having trouble. Mike, what's going on?
And guys, they're baffled by this. Now, the reason they didn't come down on lap 171, on lap 167, Ernie Cope came over the radio and said, I think we can go another 10 laps. So when he ran dry just shy of 171, their original pit stop lap, he said over the radio, I don't understand why. I thought we could go another 6 laps. Dave?
And guys, the 88 of Brad Keselowski was on and off of pit road. And now Jason Leffler is on pit road, but that battery is not functioning, guys. The engine sounded sour, and they will change it. They won't take any tires. They will take fuel, but second time today they've had to change the battery on that 38.
Man, tough break for a couple of great cars tonight.
It really was. 25 laps to go, and Kenny Wallace has blown a motor. He was running 16th at the time, and I'm wondering if this will bring out a caution, and yes, it does. Here's our 7th caution, and Kevin Harvick is saying, could I have just had that a few laps earlier? And boy, Kenny Wallace trying to make it around. Smoke pouring out of the 28. He had a nice run going for that team. Had stayed on the lead lap for a good portion of the race. For Kyle Busch, as he takes over the lead, we should point out that the 12 car of Justin Allgaier will get the Aaron's lucky dog. He's in 10th. Remember, he did make his stop, so that'll put 10 cars back on the lead lap.
Now you see right there, that 12 car also made a pit stop. He did not run out of fuel. He got on pit road and off. That could have been Kevin Harvick if they hadn't pushed it too far.
Big loser in this is Brad Keselowski, guys, 3rd in the points. He also made that stop, as we talked about. He's 11th. He was the 2nd car in line to get the lucky dog, so he is still a lap down. One thing we want to talk about, we were at lap 175. Kyle Busch has the good news of taking the lead. The bad news for Busch, he has failed to win in 5 of the last 6 races when he has been leading with 25 laps to go.
Oh, Marty, that's just a statistic. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, it doesn't count. Well, those statistics add up every now and then.
Okay, we don't have a lot of cars on the lead lap now. You're going to have some cars that are going to make pit stops.
Bring it when it opens.
Okay, it sounds like even all the leaders are coming in.
Why take the risk?
You don't want to take the risk.
You're dealing with 10 cars.
We're dealing with 10 cars on the lead lap. All these cars will pit. Well, it's going to be interesting to see just what they do, whether they get tires or fuel or, right sides. There'll be a lot of strategy down there.
Hey, you might as well come on down and get some sticky tires and I think get some grip. But 2 tires might not be a bad idea with 23 laps to go to get that track position, Andy.
Well, guess what? No fake this time by the 18. The race leader is coming, and there are a bunch of guys that are following. That's Carl Edwards and Reed Sorensen.
And Justin Allgaier stays on the track. He may opt to stay out here on this deal. He's getting he's getting the lucky dog. He's not on the lead lap yet.
That's right. And he pitted back on lap 172, so he's good to go to the finish.
All right, I'm going to see who's going to get 2 and 4 here. This can be critical.
Let's go to Jamie Little.
Reed Sorensen fought his way all the way back up to 3rd. He said he needs more rear grip, but they don't want to take any adjustments on this car. Right sides, Trent Owens, the crew chief, said 3 seconds of fuel is going to be good enough to the end. Dave?
Kyle Busch will come in for 2 right side tires. 2 more are up on the wall, so it looks like they'll make a 4-tire stop for Kyle. His car very good right now. It's going to be only 2. The 60 of Carl Edwards, they'll take 4, and they'll stay with that plan. Just a little bit too loose on the short runs for Carl. This 4-tire strategy has bit them in the past. We'll see if it works out for Carl. He'll have the fresh rubber.
Well, Kyle wins the race off pit road. Came in first, goes out first. And Reed Sorensen, Eric Darnell, and Mike Bliss picks up a couple of spots.
Not a lot of laps left for Carl Edwards to use those tires, though.
Yeah, I started to say 20 laps to go when they probably get going. That's going to be it's going to be not much time to get it up there.
Well, we'll find out which strategy pays off tonight here at Gateway when we come back. All right, after this round of pit stops, the cars that stayed out and are going to get the benefit of the wave around and get to pull back up behind the race leaders, one of those will be Brad Keselowski, so he's back on the lead lap. So is Tony Raines, and then so is Shelby Howard. So it will give us 13 cars. I think we'll do the math one more time to double check that, but we'll have that many cars on the lead lap.
And Kevin Harvick gets one of his 2 laps back. It won't put him on the lead lap, but he does get one of them back here by staying out.
I think it's fair to say this is where total confusion sets in. This is not the easiest thing to figure out.
The wave around does make it a little more complicated because you have to wait until everybody cycles through on the pit stops, and then those ahead of the race leader, the pace truck picks up that pace, the race leader, and everyone else gets to come back around to the back of the field.
Well, do you think a driver sitting in the car, Marty, can think all that? That's where he just needs to drive the car. Crew chief, just tell me what to do. Here we go.
All right. It is Kyle Busch, Reed Sorensen. Busch in the 18. Boy, he gets another great jump.
A little contact between Mike Bliss and Reed Sorensen there, and I think it hurt Reed's restart. Looked like it took a little traction away from his rear tires.
Marty, old Kyle Busch, like John Force just then. He just shot out of there.
Put it in high gear and is pulled away. Sorensen is second. Bliss is third. Eric Darnell, and here we go. Going to go 3 wide.
Here comes Carl Edwards now on those 4 tires. He knows he doesn't have a lot of time.
Oh, and he's sparking heading into that corner.
Michael Annett, strong on the outside.
This is all 4 positions. A lot of young guns in that mix.
Here comes Coleman, going to look 3 wide.
Coleman looking to get underneath Carl, and no, does he know he's there?
Yeah, Carl gave him a break right there. He saw the 20 car looking inside, knew 3 wide would not work getting into 1.
Carl's thinking about the big picture. Remember, he's second in the championship points.
Now see how low those tires are? The problem is he's got new tires on right now. It takes a little bit of time to get the pressures up so he can get going. There he goes, shoots to the bottom of the racetrack now.
You know what the problem is? There's not much time left. We've got 18 laps to go.
That's a problem too.
Coming back over the stripe, now 17 laps to go. Meanwhile, up front, Kyle Busch continues to lead. Reed Sorensen, Mike Bliss is third. Michael Annett in fourth. What a run for the 15 car tonight. There he is.
If Carl can get a couple positions and another caution flag fall, and he can get right on the bumper of Kyle Busch, he might have a shot with these 4 tires.
Yeah, but these guys are not going to give these spots up easily. I mean, Michael Annett running 4th. He's not going to give this spot up to Carl. He's going to race him for it.
And this is the best run Michael Annett's had all year long. I mean, he's looking strong right now with only 17 laps to go. Here comes Carl.
Do the 4 fresh tires pay off for Edwards? Dave Burns.
And Marty talked with his crew chief, Dan Stillman, this week, because I said during his pit stop, 4 tires bit them twice in the last few races here. Dan told me this weekend, I still think 4 tires is the best option most of the time. And Carl feels the same way.
Yeah, but all we have to do is look back last race at Chicagoland, and 4 tires didn't help Kyle Busch there.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, this track it really likes new tires. It likes sticky tires. That track last week, Chicago, whole different deal.
Reed Sorensen is eating into this lead a little bit of Kyle Busch. Last lap, he was about a 10th quicker.
Reed Sorensen, a 2-time winner here in the odd-numbered years. 05, 07. Is 09 become his third? Or does Kyle Busch pick up his first win on a track that he's never won at in the Nationwide Series?
Okay, I'm watching the 32 car of Reed Sorensen. He is getting in a corner much deeper than the 18 car of Kyle Busch. He's really catching him on entry of the corners.
The margin right now, 0.4 of a second. There's Bliss now in third. Edwards is fourth. Annett has dropped back to fifth. Darnell is sixth. Coleman is seventh. Dave, what's the latest on the 15 of Michael Annett?
Yeah, just so you know what he's working with as well. On that last round of pit stops, they put on 2 right side tires for Michael. Remember, he's raced his way up there, and they put on the 2 right sides to try to keep track position. Jamie?
And Eric Darnell did the same exact thing, Dave. He took right sides on that last pit stop. Remember, he's never raced here in the Nationwide Series. He has a lot of laps here, though. Late models trucks, it's coming into play tonight.
And you see Darnell started 16th, and of course with Annett right in front of him. Annett's career best finish was 7th back in June at Kentucky. Take a look at the rookies. Michael's 5th, Eric 6th, Justin Allgaier carrying the Dodge banner in 11th. Laps are winding down, 13 to go, and there's the margin on the screen. From Kyle Busch back to Sorensen, it's now 0.6 of a second. Then you got Bliss and Edwards trying desperately to get around Bliss to try and reel in the race leaders. He's running out of laps.
He's got 12 laps to go, but he's making the headway.
Yeah, but that car's not that much faster on those 4 tires than the 2 tires I'm noticing. Oh, there he goes now on the bottom, but you would think it'd be a big difference. It's about 1/10 of a second better than the 2 tires on the rest of these guys.
They'll have some clear racetrack if he can get by Mike Bliss, and he does here getting into turn 3 before he gets up to the top 2. We'll be able to see how good these tires are.
He's 2.4 seconds behind the race leader, Kyle
11
Busch.
laps left. Go get the next 2.
Now, Carl needs a caution right now, and he'll start on the inside, if it happens, right behind the leader, and then he'll have a shot.
I love Dan Stillman. Go get the next 2. Like it's an easy thing to do. I still go back to what we talked about a few moments ago, what happened last week in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. I would have bet that Kyle would have done it last week with 4 fresh tires, and it was just the opposite, or 2 tires, I should say, in that case. But it just didn't happen.
I've seen that happen before. I mean, it does happen occasionally. I mean, you count, it's easy to say 4 are better than 2, and it's supposed to, but sometimes it doesn't happen.
Take a look at Coleman underneath Darnell. That is for position, so move Coleman up to 6th, drop Darnell to 7th. Here comes Stephen Light taking a look inside the 6th car.
Not out of the question, we'll have another caution before the race is over, as hard as these guys are racing right here.
Lap times are very close to qualifying times, 33.5.
Right now, Carl Edwards is the fastest car on the track.
But he's only got 9 laps remaining to try and catch up to the race leaders.
Yeah, and it's 9 laps to go, and he's 2.5 seconds behind the leader. I mean, like I said, a caution is what he's got to have. And with 10 laps to go, I'm not going to say that won't happen. Intensity's sky high right now, these guys.
He was 2.4 seconds behind 2 laps ago. Right now, he's 2.6 seconds behind. So he is not cutting in, even though he does have a lot of open track in front of him. There's the top 3.
Yeah, that last time by, identical times, Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards. No difference.
Carl needs some help from Reed Sorensen. If Reed could get up there and start mixing it up with Kyle, that would help his situation.
Yeah, and he's doing all he can do. Reed Sorensen is just try to keep pace with that 18 car. He's just so fast.
Well, and I think we heard a little bit earlier when he was just laying back trying to conserve fuel, wondering if they would need it to go the distance. Now that he doesn't have to worry about fuel, we're seeing what he has left in that 18 car, and it is stout.
Yeah, 33.67 last lap. That would have qualified him in the top 20 of the race tonight. Like I said, qualifying speeds.
You know, even if they line, if caution flag does come out right now and he gets behind Kyle, it's going to be a shootout. But the thing that makes me a little nervous for Carl Edwards in that case is that the speeds are the same right now. He's not catching anybody.
Yeah, well, and the cautions only come out with less than 10 laps to go here at Gateway just once in 12 prior races. So the odds are it may stay green to the finish as we're down to about 5.5 laps to go.
And we got Kenny Wallace slow on the front straightaway and getting a black flag. If he's trying to finish the race with this sick engine right here.
Yeah, it's still wounded, and he has been told to bring it back into the garage area. Tough break for them as they made a valiant effort, but let's focus back on the lead because that's what it looks like, and it is now up to 1.2 seconds. Carl is still 2.4 seconds behind the leader. 5 laps to go, and it looks like Kyle Busch is going to keep that streak of 1-2 finishes going and put another notch on a track that he has yet to win at. He's never won here in the Nationwide Series.
Looks like Carl Edwards, it may catch Reed Sorensen right here. He's running quite a bit quicker.
Sorensen is falling back. That's really what's happening because he is getting closer. Carl is closed in, but Carl is still 2.4 seconds back, but Sorensen is now 1.6 seconds behind. So
yeah, that last time by Sorensen at 34.22 compared to Edwards 33.70, so he's really catching him right now.
Doing everything I can. Can't freaking catch him.
that was the 32 communication. I got to be honest, I had a hard time hearing what he said.
He's just trying everything he's got. He says, I'm giving you all I have here.
Right now, 1.5 seconds behind Kyle Busch. Edwards is now 2.2 seconds behind.
Okay, Sorensen really picked it up that last time by right now. He kind of got his act back together and picked up almost 3/10 from the previous lap. That's quite a bit.
3 laps remaining. That's Eric McClure, lap traffic in front of Kyle Busch. Sorensen in second. Carl Edwards is really closing on Sorensen. He's now down to 2 seconds behind the race leader. Carl is. It's 1.3 seconds from Busch to Sorensen. So they are getting closer, but they're running out of laps.
Yeah, you can tell that looks like to me that Kyle's being a little conservative right now. We slowed up a little bit. There's only 2 laps to go.
He's got a lot to give right now, and that's what I'd be telling him. If I was on the box, I'd say, okay, you got some lead. You can just be easy. And Carl gets real loose right there. You know he's doing everything he can. But Kyle doesn't need to do that. He can just take his time here, hit his marks. Give up a tenth or two is not going to hurt anything.
Well, and if it stays this way, he also stretches his points lead. It was 192 when he came into the night. It will be 212 if it comes across the line, first and third.
Well, I picked Reed Sorensen to win this race, and Rusty picked Carl Edwards. I don't know why in the world we didn't pick Kyle Busch.
We just want somebody else to win except Kyle all the time. Probably, you know.
Well, we're down to the white flag lap. Kyle Busch less than a mile away from picking up his first win here at Gateway. Down the backstretch. This one well in hand as he has got her on cruise control. Some lap traffic in front of him. That's Stephen Wallace. He gets around him and clears him cleanly. Coming out of turn 4. And Kyle Busch can put another notch on the victory's podium as he's going to take the win with Reed Sorensen second. Carl Edwards third.
Thank you, man. See a big race right here between Stephen Lighton and Michael Annette. Looked like Stephen Light got him at the line for the 6th spot.
Yes, he did. There you see Justin Allgaier ends up 11th.
Yeah, it's my
Tony
birthday and it
Raines.
was sealed, so we might as well tear it down here.
Tony Raines, the last car on the lead lap, came in 12th. But the win to Kyle Busch. Let's check in with Mike.
And catching up with the winning crew chief, Jason Ratcliffe. During the race, you came over the radio and told Kyle, let's stick to our plan. What was that plan?
Well, our strategy there, the midpoint of the race was just try to do it on one more stop, fuel, keep our track position, and it was playing out good. I mean, we stayed out, the 60 stayed with us. Had a couple other guys that were on our strategy, and then when the caution came out 24, 25 to go, that just, blew that out the window. So guys did a great job on pit road. Man, our New Balance Toyota, man, we're glad to have New Balance on with us this week. Glad to take them to victory lane. And 2 tires did it, man, did it. It's all about track position. Kyle Busch, awesome job, man. We just we got to thank God for all these opportunities. We're just blessed beyond measure.
And it's more than a blessing. It's very impressive, Marty. 7 consecutive finishes with no worse finish than second, and yet another victory for Kyle Busch.
As he does the burnout and the donuts, he's now won on 17 different tracks in the Nationwide Series. He ties Jeff Burton for 4th on the all-time win list with his 27th win in the series. We'll talk to him. Nationwide Series at Gateway International Raceway, brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Get the inside track from Penske Racing, race analysis from our drivers, plus highlights and more on VCast. And American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit us at AmericanStandardAir.com. Well, the race has just ended. The fans, the celebration, and yeah, there's those that cheer and those that boo him. But you got to acknowledge he can drive a race car. And while he celebrated, Jamie has caught up with Reed Sorensen.
Well, he started second, finished second. Not bad for the first time in the car in over a year. Now, Reed, your overall impressions there running behind the 18?
Well, I tell you, I couldn't catch him. It's kind of what I've been seeing for the past year now racing. Just every weekend you watch the 18 or 20 drive away. And that last run there, I did all I could, and the Dollar General guys did a great job all night with pit stops. And the car was good. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. It was a little bit loose, and the car was good, and I just couldn't catch them. And with these motors like they are, I mean, you just got to be able to roll, I guess, a little bit faster through the center, and that's where they're beating everybody. And I had fun tonight, and thank all the fans for coming out. It was a fun night, and I'm glad I came and didn't enjoy the off weekend doing something else. So didn't get the win, but still had a good time.
Hey, great job, fought back. You guys had damage 2 times tonight. Great effort for the 32.
And it was a good run for that team. As you can see, Kyle has made his way towards victory lane, and he's climbing out of the car.
You know, there's an old saying that NASCAR loves a first-time winner, and I'll even take a first-time winner at a track for a driver. Kyle, what's it mean for you to finally win here at Gateway?
That's pretty cool. You know, it goes back to this team. You know, they gave me a great car all weekend long. We fought a little bit in practice. We weren't sure what we had, but on the long run, man, I think it was really, really good. I want to thank the fans out here in St. Louis, and you know, especially New Balance, their first race on the car. You know, that's pretty awesome to get them to victory lane. So real proud of that. Z-Line, NOS, Energy Drink, Toyota, DirecTV, Marquee Jet, and Gillette, of course, too.
Kyle, I don't want to play too much into the karma thing here, but you did something nice for your crew this week with a certain victory lane trophy that was cut up into pieces with good reason. You think maybe that helped you this weekend?
I don't know, but yeah, we did the guitar. You know, we ended up cutting it up. All the guys got a piece of the trophy, and so they were pretty ecstatic about that. They were excited. So you know, it was a lot of fun to come out here to St. Louis, though, and to race tonight, and especially for New Balance, Toyota, all these guys. Phenomenal race car. We didn't qualify as well as we wanted to, but you know, we made it up there at the end of the race. And through the race, I felt like Harvick was really, really good. We kind of had to fight with him a little bit. We were saving fuel there, riding behind him, and wasn't sure what was going to happen. Then he ran out, and then a couple laps later we had a caution. So the race just sort of fell towards us there.
It was a great race. Kyle got to do a burnout, and that's big because you don't get to do that at every race anymore. Mike?
And Carl Edwards was hoping to put on a big show for his own hometown crowd here in St. Louis. Didn't work out for you. Restarted sixth, ended up third, just a little bit short. How would you describe the way those final laps played out for you?
Boy, I don't know how to describe it other than, you know, just say that I thought, man, I need a caution. I want a green-white checkered real bad because I knew I'd start on the inside. We had 4 tires, you know, 4 fresh Goodyears, and I could run a little faster than Kyle and Reed, but I needed a restart. I had too much space, so I got to thank Save a lot, Scott's, Ford Motor Company, and especially all these fans here. This, to me, to come to this track and race here, it's a lot like Kansas Speedway for me. It's so cool to see so many people that mean a lot to me, and I just wish I could have won the thing for him.
And he did it twice, but it just wasn't meant to be tonight, Marty.
And we should point out Toyota picks up a first tonight. So did Kyle. Toyota gets its first win here in the Nationwide Series at Gateway International. Hey, if you want your ticket to the race, here's the upcoming schedule, NASCAR.com/tickets. And one I'd like to mark on my calendar, August 21st. I love watching action at Bristol Motor Speedway. Our next stop, of course, is next week at O'Reilly Raceway Park, and that's always a dandy affair as well. Well, we still have more business to take care of here. That's the celebration as it just began as Kyle wins tonight at Gateway. Ah, what a beautiful view of the arch over in St. Louis, the other side of the Mississippi. And we want to talk to Mike Bliss as he picks up his 7th top 10 in the last 10 races. Jamie, it's all yours.
He is on a roll, and what a night it was. Okay, Mike, I have to ask you, though, because right off the start I talked about what you told me. You were nervous about restarts. What'd you do differently to pull out of it tonight?
I guess I just woke up on the right side of the bed. This place has kicked me in the butt on finishes. I just haven't finished here, and we always ran good. It was a good night for our Miccosukee Chevrolet. We ran pretty good all night, but we finished good. You know, our 2 tires at the end was a good call. The car just wasn't really there on long runs, but you know, it finished 4th. That's what counts.
Double file restarts are interesting. You just mentioned to me next week ORP. What are you looking forward to there?
It's tough getting lined up. It seems like we need about 3 laps to get lined up, but it seems like if you're up a top 3 or 4 rows, you're all right. But back there, it gets really scrambled up. It's interesting.
Something to look forward to, and this guy keeps on a roll. Mike?
And Brad Coleman scores his first top 5 finish since 2007. Not a win, but pretty close. What's this mean to you?
I mean, it means a lot. I got to thank God for this opportunity and Joe Gibbs Racing for putting me in this situation. You know, I mean, I'm truly blessed to be with this team and have this car. And I mean, this didn't come easily, though, man. We had our clutch fail halfway through the race, and every time we came in the pits, we had to shut off the car and push it, and we lost a lot of positions. But the pit crew did an awesome job, and all the Rudy's people are here, so it's really cool to have them here to celebrate this, because this is a good finish for us.
Marty, you heard him say he lost his clutch, but certainly a clutch performance with a top 5 for Coleman.
Yeah, and I want to let everybody know we did try and talk to Kevin Harvick, but he declined to talk to us tonight, and just wants to go and reminisce about what could have been instead of a 17th place finish because of what happened on that last stop. Stay with us. Well, let's get you caught up on what's going to happen tomorrow on our Motorsports Cars calendar. It's Traxxas Torque Truck Series presented by AMSOIL at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And then tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, it's the NHRA in action with final eliminations from Seattle. That's also on ESPN2. And then NASCAR Now, presented by the Home Depot, Monday, 5 Eastern on ESPN2. And then we'll be back with the nationwide series at O'Reilly Raceway Park in Indianapolis Saturday evening on ESPN. That's at 7:30 Eastern. And then we kick off our NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Brickyard 400, presented by Golden Corral, Sunday, July 26th, 12:30 Eastern on ESPN. And the celebration and the photos continue down on Victory Lane as Kyle Busch picks up his 6th win of the season here at Gateway International Raceway. Let's talk a little bit about what we saw tonight and what we can expect to see next week at ORP.
Well, tough break for Kevin Harvick tonight. He had a great race car, led the most laps, had something I think that he may have been able to beat Kyle Busch, but he ran it just a little bit too far on fuel. But he did close the gap performance-wise, and I think that's a big improvement for him and encouraging going forward.
There's no doubt about that. But talk about next week, we saw a lot of action on these double file restarts at this track, and this track is 1.2 miles in length. Hey, next week, not near that long, about a 5/8 mile racetrack, more Fram and Bama. There's going to be a lot more excitement. I mean, this was a lot of excitement. And what about the Brickyard next week? Hey, we're going to be there doing that. Andy's going to be in the booth. I'm going to be in the studio. Marty, you and I are going to be at ORP calling that race. So it's going to be exciting, but it's got the potential to be more exciting yet next week than it was tonight. The night was something else.
Well, let's take a look at the points right now. We talked about it. It's now a 212-point lead for Kyle over Carl. Brad Keselowski now 377 markers behind. Mike Bliss moves up one spot. Justin Allgaier leads in the rookie points race, but he drops a spot here. Don't forget that tune in Saturdays. We head to Indianapolis for the Nationwide Series at ORP at Indy, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. And Sunday for the Brickyard 400 presented by Golden Corral at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN. Coming up next, it's the 2009 KFC World Cup Softball Canada versus USA. Congratulations to Kyle Busch. He's our winner. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For our entire crew, I'm Marty Reed. Till we meet again.